I wonder if we're already live. Oh, here we are. Hi, everybody. Happy Thursday. Thirsty Thursday this week. Hey, Thomas Reiser. Hey, Blaine. 2007. Hey, Lori Sims. Cheers to everybody. Hope you guys are having a great week so far. The sun finally came out here in Chicago after raining literally buckets this morning and a thunderstorm kind of in the wee hours of the morning.
Yeah, it was coming down pretty hard. However, I mean, we would have perfect lighting all the time because we have lights.
Yeah, we have some lights in front of us, don't we? So yeah, hope everybody's doing well. Glad to see several of you folks already on, so thanks for joining. Good
Alan
evening,
A.
Alan
Good to see
A.
you.
All right, okay. So, just as you guys join, feel free to say hello and let us know where you're at. And tonight, Derek and I, kind of as the main theme, we were going to share just a little bit of an update on where we're at with road trip planning for the coming months. Because and I believe a lot of you guys are also simultaneously planning road trips, so I thought we could all talk about it and share where we are at in that effort, and the thinking around what's possible. And yeah, hope that's cool with you guys, because that was kind of the plan.
But first, what are you drinking?
What am I drinking? I am drinking a Costco wine today. Menage a Trois white blend from California. I think I've only had 2 sips so far, but it's very drinkable. And that's that.
Is it lush?
It's not too sweet. That was my biggest concern. Was I don't like white wines that are like too sweet. Otherwise, I just kind of feel it like instantly in my head and in my sinuses.
Yeah.
So far so good on that front.
Nice.
What are you drinking, Derek?
I am having a Truly, which is a hard seltzer, and I am having the mango.
And he has it inside of like a, what is that called?
Like a koozie?
Koozie thing to keep it cold.
It's from this company called Brewmate, and my brother and sister-in-law got me this for, I don't know if it was my birthday or Christmas, but basically it's shaped for like White Claw, Truly, Michelob Ultra, like those weirdly shaped like beers and seltzers. So it's great.
Yeah. Hey there, Michael Mon. Welcome. And hey, Walter's World. Awesome to have you guys.
Eric Brown as well.
And Eric Brown. Yay. Oh, good. We have such a great group already.
Good crew. Katie Smith.
Hi, Katie Smith.
Hey, Katie. How you doing? How you doing?
It's fun talking to Katie last night on the Walter's World live stream.
Yeah. Eric just got home from Target. We went to Target the other day.
Yeah. I'm
pleasantly
curious
surprised.
how you guys' experience at Target was, because we were told that Target was crazy busy here in Chicago, but we ended up going in the middle of the day yesterday, and it was not really busy, I would describe. And most people, if not everybody, was wearing masks. Probably everybody.
Yeah, here in
you
Chicago
have to,
you have
yeah.
to. They shouldn't let you in.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Hey Rachel, Paul Tipton, Megan Morris, and Alex Capicco. You guys
What's
kind of
up,
all
guys?
joined at once, which is super, super awesome. So welcome, and thank you all for joining too. And Alex is saying, how's it going, guys? Derek, I thought you were more of a White Claw guy rather than Truly.
I am. However, they don't sell White Claw at Costco, but they do sell Truly. So
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, they do sell White Claw at Target, but we are pretty stocked on the Truly front. We need to save that room in the refrigerator for all of Derek's keto meals. And if you guys want an update on Derek's keto progress, he's happy to share it, I'm sure. So we'll crowdsource that, whether anyone cares.
Probably not.
Probably not.
I've got a headache today, and I'm not sure if it's because of ketosis or if it's because of the Walter's World live stream last night. We drank a lot of wine, so it might be that.
Might be that.
Um,
Also, Mark and Jocelyn, we felt really bad when hearing that your Binny's does not carry Tanat down in Champaign. So, really sorry to get your hopes up there, but we'll definitely share the wealth whenever we are able to see you.
Yeah. So, Thomas Reiser saying at home in Savoy. That's cool.
Nice. Wait, Thomas Reiser, though, he's in, like, the Champaign-Urbana area, I believe. So that must be kind of that area as well.
Oh, I thought he was talking about Europe.
Maybe. Maybe he's home in Savoy in Europe.
I was going to say, neat.
And Paul Tipton, evening, morning. I believe Paul's in the UK. So certainly you are, you're tuning in pretty late there. So thank you so much for joining and not going to bed just yet.
Yeah.
This is fun. So many great people on. Derek is an adapter. Yeah, I mean, he needed some sort of hard seltzer and truly filled the bill.
Just need a low-carb way to drink.
Mark says, he finds a way to get through. Truly White Claw vodka.
Whatever. Whatever works. It all works.
Yeah, Paul Tipton said it's 1 a.m. Wow. Thanks so much for tuning in. Hopefully,
thank you, sir.
Yeah, hopefully we can either keep you awake or, rock you safe
to
sleep.
Or put you to bed.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about ketosis.
Yeah. Should Derek start into ketosis talk?
Just take a little nap.
Paul's like, I was just tuning in to hear
Derek's we just lost somebody. No, I'm just kidding.
Paul's like, I tune in to have Derek's soothing voice put me to sleep.
It's what I hear.
Bedtime stories next time.
Yeah. So Blaine is saying keto headache is a real thing, LOL. And it really is. And a lot of that's because of electrolyte imbalance. So I just drank a big glass of water with some added salt and took some magnesium and potassium supplements because I was feeling it. So.
But he wants to be here for you guys.
But I'm here for you guys. Eliz woke me up. I was like starting to doze on the couch. She's like, "It's time." I was like, "Oh God, oh God,
we gotta
how's
go
my
live.
hair? How's my hair?" But yeah, we're here. And Mark made a comment about ketosis breath, which is the worst. And it really, I mean, that comes to there's a couple ways that your body there's this whole thing, your body makes ketones, and then your body excretes ketones, and one of the places that it does that is in the breath. And so, yeah, that can stink.
Yeah, it can. Confirmed.
Why,
anyway,
thank you.
New people are on. Let's say hi to those people. Let's keep it cool over here. Hey, Bonnie. Welcome from Canada. And then Ryan Donahue. Hey, welcome. Really fun to have everybody on tonight. So, like we were saying a few minutes ago before I think several of you joined, one of the things we were thinking about going over tonight is just our updated progress on how we're planning a road trip this summer. So we've been, we're in a state right now that's still shelter in place, so we're not about to get in the car and go anywhere. But we are just talking through the different options and did a lot more research in the past few days since our Sunday live stream about what that might look like.
Yeah.
And things keep changing. So for us, that means that our plans for travel keep changing kind of as new information comes out. And then also, I just feel like, we get excited about new ideas, too. So.
No, I'm just laughing. There's a heck of a conversation happening about keto breath between Mark Walters and Blaine. And Blaine says that Dr. Barry said it's a fake thing. I don't know if you mean Dr. Berg. Maybe that was a autocorrect, that, or I don't know who Dr. Barry is, but yeah, no, I definitely agree it's a thing. So
yeah, it's a thing.
So, but somebody had written up before, I don't know if it was Eric, asking if we had figured out our RV.
Yes, so that's part of our little
yeah
update.
Yeah, I mean, my YouTube is hilarious right now. You go on my YouTube and it's going to serve up one of 3 types of videos at this point. There's the bushwhacking, build your own cabin or dig out a pool in a forest somewhere. I don't know.
We've already talked about that in a past live stream that Derek went into like survivalist YouTube.
Survivalist YouTube. I went down like a really deep hole there. I was like, if things don't work out, we can go into the woods. No. So there's that, and then the other things are now.
Do I look like somebody who goes into the woods?
Do I look like somebody who goes out into the woods?
He's got like product in his hair, keeping it all nice and tidy for you guys.
Yeah. Well, but there.
I know you did rip your shirt like 10 minutes before this thing, so maybe you're getting closer. Here's the rip. Yeah.
Yeah.
He like caught his shirt. Has this ever happened to any of you guys? He caught it on a doorknob. And it just ripped, and we were like, whatever, we're just going to roll with it.
I'd like to think it's that my arms are getting too big, but that's not what happened.
You gotta learn how to sew anyway, so this will be a good excuse.
Yeah, so it's like survivalist stuff. It's like RVs and van life YouTubers, like how to like convert a like Sprinter van into like a home on wheels. And then the third thing is like just like random travel stuff. Yeah. So,
hey Darian, by the way,
times.
welcome. Yes.
Go ahead.
Ah.
So did somebody say Siri? Sorry about that, everybody. My phone, my Siri on my phone, by the way, is in the British mode, so she speaks to me in a British accent.
It's because Eliz thinks it's fancy.
I just think it's fun.
And that's Eliz taking one for the team. I think that's about my breath.
Usually I just inform him that his breath smells, and he
I just go brush my teeth.
Yeah.
It all works.
Stay away. But that, just so everybody knows, the keto breath only lasts like the first few days, right?
Yeah, it's first like week or two.
Yeah, first week or so.
So Paul tipped in, I'm back at work next week full time, so this will probably be my last chat midweek. Same with Walter's World.
Bummer.
Well, sir, we will miss you. But, it's great that,
I'm glad you're going back to work. That's
that
awesome.
Everything's getting back to normal. So
yeah.
that's pretty cool. Michael Mon, Minnesota opens Monday for limited retail, June 1 for most restaurants, malls, etc. Interesting.
That's cool.
Hopefully
you guys are on a good track with all the data and stuff. We here in Illinois are still waiting to hear about June, but I think there's going to be like a phased approach. But we live in the city of Chicago, so I'm sure whatever the phases are throughout the state, we're just going to be like on the tail end of all of those openings.
Yeah. All right, so Darian, hello folks. Just getting here. My daughter had sprained her ankle at park, and I had to go and get her. Well, hopefully she's feeling okay. Hopefully it's not too bad, and she can. Hopefully it's not too swollen or anything.
And hopefully it's not something that is going to need any sort of like doctor's attention, because that's always got to be scary these days.
Yeah.
So yeah, ice it, all that good stuff.
So Mark is telling Ryan that trying to get the 2 streams, Facebook and YouTube, led to more drinking.
We didn't try to tune in to the Facebook part of it. Maybe we should have, just to see what that looked like. But Mark, that was a really cool experiment that you did last night. Yeah. And yeah, it was fun to see that you got it to work for both.
Katie Smith also says no thank you to woods.
Yeah.
So.
Especially like a dugout in the ground. Like I told Derek, when we were looking at all of the RV YouTubes and stuff, like if we can find a fancy enough RV, I would certainly consider, that kind of lifestyle for a little bit.
Yeah, so
for travel, but not a dugout in the woods.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah, no. But it's funny, like you start looking at these like van mods that people are doing, where they're taking a Sprinter van or whatever, and they're converting it into a tiny house basically. And some of them are really nice. Like some of them are like super nice, pretty luxurious in terms of like high-end finishings. These people are spending like $80,000 basically on the remodel.
Like with subway tile.
Or like $80,000 all in, right? So that's a pretty expensive, proposition. but then it's really compact. Like, it is like super small, which would to me be a little bit tough. You know, and I think that that's the thing that we're looking at. We're like, I don't think we could do that. Plus, we wouldn't want to spend that kind of money on a van that we would use part time.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
And by part time, it's like, is it
a
even
few
part
times
time?
a year.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
Also, I don't know if it would clear our garage because in the city of Chicago, like all the garages are really, really
no.
low.
Oh God, would not.
So we have, okay, I was saying this last night on the Walters World chat when I was going back and forth with Gallivanting Gals. We have a Toyota Highlander, but it's a hybrid, so it does not tow the normal amount of weight.
A typical Highlander will do like 5,000 pounds of towing capacity. Ours does about 3,500. So the type of RV, like even towable RV that we could get,
which we just found out all of this information 2 days ago.
yeah. So it really limits what we'd be able to get in terms of like size. Whether we were buying or renting, and so it makes it more likely that we'd probably just try to rent an actual like camper that not camper but an actual RV, maybe a small one that we could drive that kind of looks like a truck chassis but has like it's all modded out and stuff. And
the Gallivanting Gals were saying to me last night, instead of looking at campers that our SUV can tow, we should look at RVs that can tow our SUV. And I was like, genius.
Because that would be great for gas mileage. No, but
that's, I guess, that's the downside. But I was like, oh, we hadn't even really swapped that in our research. So.
Well, because Gallivanting Gals, they when they were doing their RV trips, they were telling us that they would tow their Jeep behind the RV, which is great because then you can take the RV out, you're staying in that, but you have your Jeep, so if you want to go like off-roading or like go to a trailhead that you can't get to with a big RV, you can still go do all that stuff, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. That would be something that we're exploring. But we've also started looking a little bit into what different road trip options there are that feel right to us. And so for the first few weeks of quarantine, I was really digging into doing a southern road trip. And that included like kind of all of the southern states, especially because I haven't been to several of them. And like I've mentioned before, there's 16 states that I have not been to. And in 2020, my 2020 goal was to go to all 16. And of course, that got shattered to heck. But I haven't been to one of them yet in 2020. So we'll see about that. But several of them are in the south. So I was initially looking in that area. However, because so many states are opening up, we're a little bit wary of, those numbers kind of shifting throughout the summer in the southern states, having still an increase in caseloads of COVID-19 going on. So then we started looking into going kind of within the Midwest, up into Canada and over into the Northeast, and then down kind of in through the Mid-Atlantic and back to Chicago. But we're still a little bit concerned about some of the places that we're really interested in the Northeast. So like we mentioned last night on Walter's World, Maine, for example, is kind of creating rules about people visiting that state. And I'm sure several other states in New England are going to be doing the same, just based on how affected they've been by the virus. So then we're like, okay, well, maybe we should start looking westward into some of the more rural states out west. So we've started mapping out a third option of a road trip that takes us westward. I don't know if you want to jump in and talk about that more.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't really mapped it out specifically on what we would do with that, but we are looking at what we would be comfortable with in terms of when we would be on the road and where we're going. And the idea of heading early on in those days to the East Coast, where it's a little bit more densely populated, as opposed to heading west to maybe more of like Colorado, Utah, New Mexico, some of those areas. Might make some sense. We have family, we got friends out there, and it'd be nice to kind of go see them. and maybe waiting more towards, end of summer or early fall to kind of do a big road trip that, we can, go enjoy and just be a little bit better informed about kind of what's, what happens, post all the restrictions being, eased. So, it's just about having like more information and making sure that we're being smart about things. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't, plan to go up to like the UP maybe this summer for like a long weekend. So we would still probably do something like that, but
or even
doing
just like an extended long weekend.
Yeah, even maybe for a week or something like that, but not doing like a 4-week road trip or something like that where we're going all over the place. It would probably be a little bit more narrow and trying to stay in one place for a more significant amount of time, just to decrease some of that risk.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to circle back real quick now that we've given you guys a little bit of an update on where we're at. I just want to respond to a few things.
Paul Tipton, those diets sound nasty. Yeah,
So
I
Derek
like
actually lost 30 pounds on keto back in like 2015, 2016.
Yeah.
And he's found it really effective for him. I've never tried it myself, but I know that certain people, their bodies just respond well to it. So if Derek likes it, I'm just like, sure, whatever you want to do.
Mark Walters says, I had Waze set for Mr. T a couple summers ago, and it was great.
So I used to...
A bit of the food.
I had a meeting with the Waze team back when I worked in an ad agency, and they were talking about how they also did a Waze integration with Kevin Hart, and Kevin Hart would give you Waze directions, and I thought that would be pretty funny as well. So Mr. T, of course, is hysterical too. And then Thomas Reitzer said, I hate Siri, she never understands me. I actually have that issue as well, with both Siri and the Amazon Echo. And sometimes Derek, will say the exact same thing to the Amazon Echo, and she understands him. And I get a little frustrated about that, if I'm not going to lie. So I'm with you there. It's no fun.
Diction is done with the tip of the tongue and the teeth.
It's that audiobook reader.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
That budding audiobook reader. And then Michael Mon says, I have my Google Maps set to UK mode, and I also have that set to UK mode. It's so much more fun to get directions told to you in a British accent, in my opinion. Michael Mon also went on, he's saying for Minnesota that they're on a good track, but
they're not on
a good track. Yeah, still climbing. In Illinois we are as well. I actually look at the numbers every day on the Illinois Department of Health has really real-time data inputs, so I check that usually about once a day,
So it looks like Paul Tipton does electrical work, and he's an electrician.
Oh,
That's
nice.
cool.
We actually need an electrician for our house right now, so it's unfortunate that you're across the pond.
Yeah.
We have an outdoor outlet that's just not working, which is super unfortunate.
Ryan Donahue is an electrician in Massachusetts.
Shut up. Guys, come closer to us. We need you.
My cousin is an electrician in California.
That's true, I know. We just need an electrician in the Midwest. Somebody raise your hand if you were one of those. And then, what else?
So Mark is saying that Facebook brought in a new audience, which was nice.
Totally.
When he did his stream there. That's pretty cool.
You did mention, though, I believe that you needed to create a gaming channel, so maybe I can talk to you offline about whether or not that's something feasible for me to do. I feel like most of my Facebook audience, since it's still really, really small, is probably, I don't know, the same people that are on this chat already.
Yeah, I do agree, though. Yesterday's chat on the Walters thing was going by pretty quick.
Yeah, it was hard to read a
really
little
hard
bit.
To keep up.
But I think after a certain point, a lot of the chat was coming from YouTube, which is where we were at, so that was helpful.
So Mark is saying, remember when hashtag van life went huge a couple years ago? All those people started van life everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
And all those people are giving us some inspiration right now.
Yeah.
We're not about to do van life.
But Mark is like, I am not built for van life.
No. And also, like, so we were watching an episode of one of the van life people today, and the aesthetic of the van was beautiful. And they had everything that they needed.
Gorgeous.
But there was absolutely no walking room in there. I have no idea how they move. So, yeah, I mean, it's cool to be able to fit everything into a small space.
Well, I mean, it was beautiful, and, like, they had a bathroom, they had a toilet, it had a shower.
But I think you have to pull the toilet out in order to shower.
Yeah, but that's fine.
Anyway.
It
was tight.
They had the things, right? They had the things that I would, like, feel like I would need, which is, like, a shower.
Yeah.
Especially if, like, we're traveling around, like, creating, like, YouTube content. Like, I need a shower. I will not look like this otherwise.
He's got a reputation
I gotta keep up appearances,
yeah.
guys. But yeah, so the whole van life thing, like, we would never do that. But, like, you know, getting maybe a small RV and going around for a bit, that's
we did start pricing out RVs.
Yeah.
So there's that.
I'm just waiting for Gallivanting Gals series on RVs to come out so I can actually learn what it's all about, because I still know nothing.
If any of you guys weren't part of that chat last night, Gallivanting Gals let us know that they created some sort of partnership with their local RV dealer and was basically able to convince them to allow Gallivanting Gals to video different RV tours of all the different RVs on his lot. So we're excited for that. We're so curious about RVs right now.
Yeah.
Hi J&N Travels. Welcome to the chat. We're talking about summer road trips right now, just as everybody's kind of in the mood for planning those for the most part, whether it's in the U.S. or Canada or the U.K.
Yeah, so Megan is saying that totally agree, and the RVs and travel vans are way cooler in Europe.
Yeah.
So
Paul Tipton said he's seen an RV with a smart car. That's cool.
Interesting. So
I'm assuming the smart car was being towed by the RV and not vice versa.
So. Gotta assume so.
That would be a sight to see.
So Mark is saying, does the roof pop up like on Safari in Africa? Actually, I was watching a van tour of a van that had, like, the pop-up thing going, which was actually really cool, because with that up, like, you can actually, like, stand up in the van and stuff, and it was a shorter van, the kind that typically you wouldn't be able to stand up in. So, like, once that thing goes up, it adds a ton of, like, living space, which is pretty cool.
By the way, if any of you guys are going down that rabbit hole after this conversation on YouTube, casting it to your TV is so much nicer than watching it on a computer on your phone. You just kind of get a little bit bigger of an experience if you can, like, hook it up to an HDMI cable or something like that and watch it there.
Yeah, so Lori is saying, if you feel comfortable, you could get a toy hauler that we use to take the desert, much less expensive than an RV.
Yeah, we've seen... Well, we don't have any
What is a toy
toys.
hauler?
It's for, like, dirt bikes and ATVs and stuff like that, like bikes and stuff. At least that's my impression. We don't have any of those. But if we did, that would be something that we're looking into. We were looking at, like, all of the different options, like the cheaper options that could be towed by our car.
Yeah, so...
But really what we need is more of, like, the accommodation. Like, what we would want out of that type of rental is a comfortable bed, a good enough kitchen, and a good enough bathroom. So.
Yeah. Which you would get with that one build that we were looking at, except it was very small. It was very compact.
Yeah.
But it had all those things, which is kind of cool. So Blaine is saying we should, I think, trade in our car, get a toy hauler fifth wheel, and you can put a smart collar in it.
Smart what?
Smart car in there.
Smart car. I thought you said smart collar, and I was like, what's that?
But then we would need to get a truck to pull it on.
Nice. This is like such a commitment. That's the one thing we're like, we could trade in our car, and then we're like, wait a minute. Hopefully, this is not going to become our permanent way of traveling.
Yeah.
You know, like, because ideally, once we can all start traveling abroad again and stuff like that, we would be
flying and stuff.
Flying, yeah. So this is kind of that. What do we do in the next
year?
4 months to 1 year, based on how things go. So I don't know what you guys are all thinking. I'm actually curious what everybody else on this chat is thinking about this week.
Well, I do like that Mark is saying that we should just go all in, get a tiny house, put it on a trailer, and take it around with us.
Whew. That's a thing that we could do.
So Blaine is telling us...
Mark, you're such a great influence on Derek, really.
I'm going to go buy one now. Blaine is saying, come to Savannah, Georgia area. Would love to meet up.
Yeah, that was in round 1, actually, of all of the road trip ideas. I've never been to Savannah, Georgia, and would love to go, especially because Mark Walter's wife, Jocelyn, like, raves about Savannah. So, basically, I've heard nothing but good things, and we certainly would like to visit that area. I have been to Georgia. I just have not been to the Savannah area. So we were talking about driving from Chicago, kind of like through West Virginia, down to Asheville, North Carolina, over to Savannah, and Charleston, and then back kind of in the southern part, like almost Gulf area, and even going to like New Orleans and stuff.
Yeah.
So I have history in my family in Alabama. I've never even been to Alabama, so I was hoping to go kind of at least drive through Alabama too and check that out. So we'll see.
Yeah, and a lot of people are in the chat are saying that Savannah and Charleston are both amazing.
Yeah.
But that, Savannah is amazing, but the humidity in the summer is pretty brutal.
Yeah, that's the one thing is... Oh, and so I guess we could also speak a little bit towards timing. We did start considering pushing a longer trip to, like, fall timing, just based on where numbers are at and wanting to see where things lie. So
yeah. Well, Bob and Terry are saying if we do come through southern Utah, that
Bob
we
and
can count
Terry,
on
man?
them for a room and chilled wine.
Okay, first of all, hi Bob and Terry. Those are Derek's amazing aunt and uncle. They live in the coolest house in southern Utah by Zion National Park. And we went in January and stayed at their house right before all of this happened. And for the first time, they just built this house. And we certainly would love to do that and come back.
Beautiful sunrise.
I remember
awesome.
you guys saying that
cool.
your area doesn't allow like RVs to just like park, so we'd have to figure those logistics out.
Yeah, what we're driving,
Yeah.
Yeah, Michael Mann, beautiful drives out west, long distances though. Yeah. But, if we're doing like a longer road trip, we're fine with that. Alan is asking a pretty interesting question, which is how far in advance do you need to reserve
You guys all
camping
saw that,
space?
right? Where I forgot to take the lid off of the wine.
She's not drinking.
This is all I've had.
Just get a straw. Just go. But yeah, so Al is asking about, how far in advance do you have to, reserve a space. And Blaine is saying that it depends on how big of a campground and where it's located, but I would do it sooner than later to make sure you have space. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's good to think about because, you don't want to like have to park in like a Walmart parking lot or something like that allows overnight parking if you can help it. So. Yeah,
and I bet more than ever before there's going to be advanced bookings on campgrounds and those types of accommodations, so you're totally right.
Eric Brown also has his Alexa voice set to UK mode. We should get our Alexa set to that. It's not.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Man.
It's bloody brilliant. Okay,
I don't think that's what she'll sound like.
Probably not. It probably doesn't. It'd be great if like suddenly it had a Cockney accent.
Can you set it to different British options?
Yes, that'd be so good.
Set it to Welsh and nobody can understand what she says ever.
Yeah. What if you could set it to like, oh god, who's that dude who had the terrible British accent in Mary Poppins?
The governor?
The chimney sweep.
Oh, the chimney sweep.
It was like famously bad.
I
don't know. Dick Van Dyke. I think it was Dick Van Dyke.
Oh, yeah.
Terrible British accent, but it was awesome. It's like weird Cockney thing. It was great.
Dick Van Dyke's going to come back and do that for you, I'm pretty sure.
Dick Van
Mark
Dyke.
my words.
So Mark, speaking of Mark, is saying that their local pools just announced that they are not opening any pools this summer.
That's unfortunate, and I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of pools in Illinois are that way. My mom actually, that's her means of exercise in the summertime, so I'm sure that's going to be a bummer for her. My parents live in the Chicago suburbs.
Ryan Donahue, I will relocate for the right offer. We don't have much to offer, unfortunately.
Yeah, we
Ryan.
just need one electrical outlet fixed, so I'm not sure if that's going to entice you.
Yeah. And Al is saying that he can help us plug stuff in, but that's about it.
Yeah. Yeah, nobody in either of our families nearby know anything about electricity, but of course Derek's cousin is a week younger than me. Like, he's basically the same age as us, and just a really skilled electrician, but of course he lives in California, so it's hard to get him out here.
He is back at work. So
Yeah.
they've been back at work for a while.
He's been at work this whole time, I think.
Yeah,
because he's
pretty
essential.
much. All right, so Bonnie is saying this weekend, Victoria Day, long weekend in Canada, is the first camping weekend here. Campgrounds are closed, though, but it usually snows on people because we're close to the Rocky Mountains.
Fair.
Nice.
Yeah, snow when you're camping is a little bit tricky.
Yeah.
I've been in the desert while camping it's gotten like below freezing, but never with snow. I feel like that would just be an added like wetness that would be unpleasant.
So Mark is saying that I don't need to shower for them because they would love me no matter what.
Oh, Mark, that's
But Eliz needs to shower. No, I'm just kidding.
That's true. That's implied, isn't it?
It's implied.
Eliz, yeah, they would definitely not love me no matter what. Also, Thomas Riser said he retired from the Chicago Public Libraries. Okay, so we've lived in Chicago now for 2 years after moving back from New York. And I just got a library card during quarantine. And for everybody to know, one way to really entertain yourself is to get a library card so that you have access to like ebooks, audiobooks, and stuff like that for free during quarantine or while you're traveling or whatever. So I went on the website and basically you could just get an e-library card and apply for it, and it was pretty instantaneous. I think it took 5 minutes.
Alex is taking exception to the fact that you said that Dick Van Dyke is dead because he's still alive.
I said he was going to come back and do that.
Oh, I think you might have said from the grave.
I didn't say from the grave. I purposefully didn't because I wasn't sure if he was dead. Like I made
94.
sure we're gonna roll the tapes after this is over because I was very careful with my words. But thank you, Capitco, for really hammering that home and confirming for me that he was still alive. So that's good.
Yeah. So Blaine is telling us that the most fun you'll have with RV life is dumping black and gray tanks. LOL.
Gallivanting Gals let us know about that because I didn't even know what that meant until
Black
like 2
tank
weeks ago.
Is toilet. Gray tank is like sink.
I've been on a lot of road trips. I've just never done like an RV or that type of experience.
Yeah.
So, there's always a first time for everything, and that's one of those things where there's some honking outside.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's always a first time for everything, and that's one of the things that we would have never really considered for like a summer trip before. But in a scenario where that sounds like one of the best options for seeing what we want to see, why not? And hopefully, it sounds like a lot of people have really great RVing experiences. So we'll see if we end up doing it.
Yeah.
But it's being very well researched right now in this house.
Al is saying we all appreciate you showering too. Just don't video it. I'll try not to.
Yeah, we don't do that kind of thing.
Paul Tipton is saying it's okay. I can't smell you from here. Nice. I smell great. Okay, so Michael Mon, we had the van to travel, but after our first camping trip, it was hotels from then on. My girls did not like camping.
I've heard glamping is kind of like a good in between thing, and certain glamping experiences were becoming more and more popular.
Henrietta Ann, hi, how are you guys?
Hey, Henrietta, welcome.
Nice to finally catch you live.
Yay.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Sorry we just saw this.
Hopefully we live up to all of your wild expectations.
Yeah, so Marcus and the Gallivanting Gals, it looks like they might be posting the stuff starting the end of next week. So that'd be cool.
And I also did an interview with Gallivanting Gals earlier this week that should be going live, I think, next week or the week after. So hopefully you guys can tune into that.
Yeah, that'd be cool. So Mark is also saying, Derek on 70 inches. Big screen.
We have a 65-inch TV.
Which is the biggest TV I've ever owned. It's quite...
It's large.
Quite
large and in charge. It also came with Disney Plus for the first year. So Derek's been watching some epic content.
Sure. Megan Morris is laughing at the thought of you on an ATV or a dirt bike.
So, I would do it.
We're gonna hold you to that.
Yeah. But it would need to be like, somebody would need to teach me how to do it first, I think.
So
there are scenarios where I get, like, I've done hikes. I even have done, like, overnights in Moab, at a campground and stuff like that. I'd probably get on a dirt bike as long as I felt really safe and that I was with people that knew what they were doing. But there was, like, I have this one memory of getting on a motorcycle with, I have a cousin who's my age who, would put me in very precarious situations.
Oh, God, yeah. I remember this story.
There are, like, several instances. But somehow he convinced me when we were seniors in high school to get on his dad's motorcycle. And he said, like, oh, just get on, turn it on, and then, like, just start driving. You'll figure it out. I'm like, oh, cool. Like, I know how to ride a bike. It's fine. I did not figure it out. Because I'm not, like, I don't know. I think I just don't have great survival instincts. Yeah, I don't. So...
We all went over that last time when we talked about her experience being, like, outraged at the potential drug drop.
Hi,
that
Nick
we
D, by the way. Welcome. And Travel Best Destinations. Welcome.
On the Chinese bus ride from New York to Cincinnati, when she's like, oh my God, look at what happened. I'm like, shush.
Yeah,
if it is a drug deal, you don't want them to know you know.
Yeah, I'm so trusting, and it's...
Don't even get me started about, like, walking by the projects in New York City with her. She's like, la-di-da-di-da. Like,
anyway,
no, head down.
So, back to my story about riding a motorcycle down the mean streets of New Jersey. So,
Montclair,
New Jersey.
Mean streets.
So... We're going down I'm going down the street, and I'm like, he didn't teach me how to stop, and there's no brake, and, like, I guess the brake was on the handles, but he never taught me which one was, like, the gas and which one was the brake, and I was afraid that I was gonna guess wrong. So I'm doing okay, because it's a suburb, there weren't any, cars on the street. I definitely ran a few stop signs, but that like it was not there wasn't anyone else in the intersection. But finally, 5 blocks later, I'm getting towards a railroad track, and I'm like, this is not going to end well, because there's going to be a lot of bumps. I could wipe out. So I look down and I decide I'm not going to try for the gas or the brake 50-50 chance. I'm just going to turn off, like undo the key in the ignition as quickly as I can. So going 40 miles per hour on a motorcycle, I turn the ignition off and it stops dead. I kind of fall off, but I was okay. And then had to push this motorcycle by hand all the way back to my cousin's house.
Your dad's like, this is a story I've never heard.
Yeah. And my dad also had to rescue me on a bicycle that my cousin put me on and didn't tell me how to stop, because I almost biked into a lake.
You need to stop trusting your cousin.
Well, I did after the motorcycle incident. But I survived, and I pushed that motorcycle in the off position back about 5 blocks.
There we go.
So there's that.
Okay, so Lori Sims is saying that toy haulers have beds, kitchen, shower, and a microwave. I assume microwave. Cool. I gotta look these up. But then, yeah, we would need a truck to pull it. Sounds like a country song. Truck to pull it.
I think there is a country song.
There is. Walter's World. Gotta go.
Bye, Walter's
Do that
World.
parenting thing. Might be back later.
Cool. Would love to have you back if you can.
All right, so Blaine's saying, but also the toy hauler area could be your live studio to set up your live, like, streams and vlogs and stuff. So you could have, like,
that's another like piece of it that we've been researching.
Cool.
Is how does Wi-Fi work? Because
you can buy like the hotspots that have like so much data.
Right. So with a live stream though, that's a lot of data.
That would be a lot of data.
So we weren't sure if we'd be able to still do live streams, but it sounds like you could at least still upload videos while in an RV and stuff like that, depending on your cell phone reception and stuff like that.
Yeah. Griswold family vacay, hello.
Welcome, guys.
Welcome. Sorry we're late to saying hi.
Yeah, we are a little bit behind, I think.
And then this is where everybody's saying Savannah's awesome. Savannah and Charleston. Wait. Thomas Reiser, flight to Anchorage and then ride the Alaska Railroad. That'd be cool. That'd be a fun trip.
I'd love to do that.
I'd do that.
We were actually at the beginning of quarantine looking at how far it would be to drive from Chicago to Alaska. It would be far.
That'd be good content though. Like you go through like the Alaska Highway and stuff. Like that.
This is our focus group. Would it be good content? Let us know.
I don't know. I think so.
We were talking, like, one of the live chats kind of in probably early April or something about that we'd have to drive through Saskatchewan. And I remember somebody, I can't remember who, was
Saskatchewan.
Like, I've never been to Saskatchewan. I don't know what's there. And we were like, we don't either.
And they were from Canada.
Yeah.
Canadian.
It was probably Bonnie.
It's probably Bonnie.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Lori said, I'd love to travel to Savannah and fly there from California. Yeah, Savannah would be really cool. I've got family in Charleston, I think. So, well, actually, I've got a fraternity brother in Charleston. I've got family, I think, in Savannah. I think I might also have some in Raleigh. So, we've got quite a bit of family out that way and friends and stuff that we'd love to kind of see.
I just messed this up, didn't I?
Trying to figure it all out.
I messed this up.
Just set it down. It's fine.
Okay.
Okay, so Bob and Terry, hi.
Hi.
Travel best destination, Savannah is on their bucket list too.
Yeah.
Nick D, hello. Savannah has a cool retro themed motel.
We'll have to look that up. I was looking at more of the things to do in Savannah when I was looking it up, and it seems like there's so many beautiful photography spots, especially for Derek.
Yeah, I like taking pretty pictures.
Yeah.
So Ryan Donahue is asking a question, which is, isn't it true that Walmart allows camping in their parking lots unless local regulations prohibit it? And yes, that is true.
Yeah.
So they allow like the overnight parking and stuff. So that's one of the things that a lot of these people who do like van life or RVs and stuff will look at if they can't get into a campground or whatever. Is like the last resort is, where's the nearest Walmart, and they will drive to those places and just park there.
And some Walmarts are like 24-hour too, so
yeah.
It's not like the cops would drive by and be like, what are they doing there?
Well, but they allow it, right?
Right.
So like you wouldn't get in trouble no matter what.
That's true, yeah.
Which is pretty cool. And something that I did not know about. So I mean, I think that's pretty cool. I didn't know about that until I started like researching all this stuff.
Yeah,
Going down the black hole that is YouTube.
Our RV life and van life on YouTube.
Nick is replying to that as well, saying that that's true. Thomas Reiser is saying Glaswegian is almost incomprehensible.
What is that in reference to? Sorry.
I think speech.
Oh, yeah. When I was talking about different accents, yeah. We actually, I didn't have as much issue understanding Scottish accents as I feel like Derek maybe did when we were in Scotland. There was a few moments where I translated for him, but we were all over the Highlands. We went to Glasgow and stuff like that. You kind of have to know the slang, I guess. So, especially in Glasgow, like comparing it to like Edinburgh or something like that. It's definitely nice to know the slang words.
Yeah. Okay, so Bonnie went to Savannah during Halloween. It was so much fun. All the dogs got dressed up and went out trick-or-treating.
I think that's supposed to be a really good Halloween place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That in University of Wisconsin.
If we end up doing a fall road trip and doing it in the South, we should probably plan Savannah around Halloween time. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
Especially because I loved going to Shenandoah National Park area in mid-October. So it'd be pretty easy if we did a longer trip to kind of jump into Savannah right after that.
So, Alan A., once we can travel again, we're planning to meet friends in Savannah for a garden tour by day and haunted tour at night.
Dad, I don't even
That's
know which friends you're talking about, so...
Can you introduce us to them?
Yeah, sounds like you're keeping some cool friends from us.
Yeah.
That's rude.
Alex is apologizing for mishearing you about Dick Van Dyke.
I was very careful because I wasn't sure.
Yeah, so Blaine is telling your dad to go on the hearse ghost tours in Savannah.
Ooh, hearse? I don't know, it's scary.
You're riding a hearse, that'd be
fun.
All right, so Bob and Terry are saying CPL offers free museum passes.
Chicago Public Library. I did not know that.
That's pretty cool.
Bonus. Okay, I'm going to look into that too. They definitely weren't mentioning that when I signed up for the library card during quarantine, so maybe it's off the table right now or something like that.
So, Jocelyn is saying, I remember my dad dealing with the black and gray water. Yuck.
Yeah. Well,
hi, Jocelyn.
At least you knew what black and gray water was.
So, and then Mark is saying,
me.
black and gray water, yum, yum, yum.
Ew.
Remember, if there's a rock on top of the drain, that means the drain is not staying closed. Yuck.
There's like a,
Got it.
some sort of gnat in here. Derek killed it. There's a garbage can back there.
Let me wash my hands.
Yeah.
I'll
just keep reading these things. We had to take in all of our. So Derek just replanted the sprouts, the basil and cilantro sprouts, and he put them outside like 2 days ago. And then because it rained so hard.
Yeah. We haven't gone out to look at them, see if they drowned or not.
Yeah, he brought a few of them in, so I bet that little gnat came in with that.
Yeah. All right, so...
Hi, Julia. Hi, in Tucson.
Hello,
welcome.
Julia. Welcome.
Sorry, everybody, that we're a little bit behind. So anybody else who's new, we're going to say hi to you in a second, too, I'm sure.
So according to Thomas Reiser, you had to take a child to use the CPL museum passes.
Oh, we don't have one of those.
So if anybody has a child we can borrow so we can get into like museums for free. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Blaine, yeah, we lived in ours a little bit. Well, like 6 years, and then we are about to travel next year often, and vlogging trips can be fun. I hope. LOL. Yeah. No, that should be fun, right?
An RV, right?
I assume that means in an RV.
Cool.
So Jocelyn said, I'm looking into a Class
Blaine,
D
we're going to
RV.
be really following you about your RV tips now.
I mean, if we all just get RVs, and we can all just be like,
what
RV
if we
buds?
all just book a campground and we don't need live streams, we just get to hang out live.
Although we could stream it.
Oh, Eric Zacarias, welcome. So Derek's dad is on. Good
Father,
evening
can you hear me?
I'm
No?
sure he could. That was on key, I think.
Hey, velvety smooth
Yeah,
baritone.
you have a beautiful voice. Good evening from Lawrenceburg, Indiana. Good evening. Bob and Terry say best glamping was Alasi Resort in Torres del Paine in Chile.
Very cool.
Remember you guys telling us about that, and that would be amazing.
All right, so Katie is saying Hamilton's coming out on Disney Plus in July, I think. Yes, that is happening, and that's very cool. It was
Breaking
actually
news
it was
about
actually
Hamilton yesterday, right?
It was supposed to come out, I think, next year to theaters, and they like super like rushed it forward to kind of capitalize on everybody being at home, so they can like really further, you know, increase their subscriber growth rate for Disney Plus, because being a newer entrant into like the streaming wars, you know, it's pretty important.
We can't wait, because we actually have never seen Hamilton, and we really, really would love to, because we love the soundtrack. So
Jocelyn, dude, we are so four-wheeling. I grew up on them in northern Minnesota. So much fun.
I would 100% go on an ATV or a dirt bike with Jocelyn. That would be killer.
Blaine, you heard it here live. She will do it. LOL. She will go get hotel room at Marriott and tell Derek, good luck, and come get me when you're ready to go home. Yes, she would. She totally would do that.
What?
That is...
I definitely am going out.
True story. Lori Sims, hi. Been hopping in and out cooking dinner. Hopefully it's going well.
Yeah,
barbecue.
Hope your barbecue's going well.
And Alfredo? That sounds delicious. I love Alfredo. But I'm on keto, so I can't do pasta. So I have a lot of broccoli, and I have like a thing of Alfredo sauce. So my thought is I'm going to cook the broccoli tomorrow and then dump Alfredo sauce on top. That's what I'm going to do.
Can you just make me some like non-Alfredo broccoli? So I'm lactose intolerant, as you guys probably all know now. And there are dairy-free Alfredo options, so maybe we can look into that.
I made some like keto cauliflower stuff today. So I did like a cauliflower. It's almost like a mac and cheese type recipe, but it's basically just like a casserole with a bunch of cheese and stuff in it that she can't have because it's like all the dairy, basically. But then I also made a thing of cauliflower fried rice that you could have, and it was actually really good.
I can do the cauliflower fried rice with like shrimp or chicken, and then I actually made a crock pot chicken recipe tonight. That's a coq au vin French inspired recipe. Super easy. And I did it, which means it's super easy.
She had me brown the chicken, but that's
true.
You added it all to the pot, though. And
Let's just pretend I did the whole thing.
You did it all. It's good. Yeah, we batch cooked a bunch. I don't know why today's Thursday. It's a weird day to like do like meal prep, but we decided just like cook a bunch of stuff.
I think it's because we went grocery shopping several days ago, and we were like, oh shoot, we have to cook everything now because it's gonna go bad.
Yeah, that was my thing. I was like, I looked at the date on the cauliflower today, and I was like, oh, that's today. Okay, I guess I'm cooking this afternoon. Yeah. So I cooked. It's all good. So Eric Brown is saying, at Eliz, my survival instincts are also poor when it comes to the woods.
Yeah. Let's just blame Alan A. for not taking me camping. Just kidding. That would have been a really actually funny camping trip, because I don't think my parents really know how to camp that well either, so that would have just been us kind of like, what do we do?
I remember going camping with my family, with Darlene and Eric and my brother.
You guys went camping?
Yeah, we went camping to...
I don't think I've ever heard the story, and you guys...
Indiana Beach.
I've been with Derek since 2006, and I've never heard that they went camping before.
We went with the Fries, who are family friends of ours. I remember like kind of wandering around and maybe getting lost at one point.
French
it was
fries.
all fun.
Human fries.
Exactly.
Okay.
Human fries. But yeah, no, it was fun. The one issue was that we didn't have a tent large enough for like the family, so it was kind of like, I think like my parents were in it, and then like one of us was like sleeping towards like their heads, the other one towards their feet, and we were all kind of like stuck in there. Dad, that's mean.
I just highlighted Derek's dad's comment about the kayak story. We will get to that. That's coming.
It was the maiden voyage too.
This is why I don't go just camping in the woods with Derek.
Oh, come on. Eric Brown, I'm more of a city person. Yeah, me too. Megan is saying how much she loves Jocelyn's blog.
I love Jocelyn's blog this week especially.
And that the paintings that your kids made were too cute.
Yeah.
They got skills. So Lori is saying the Vespa tour is one of her highlights from Italy. I've never done a Vespa tour. That'd be fun.
We didn't do a Vespa in Italy. I remember wanting to kind of pose like Audrey Hepburn in what's the Rome movie that she's in where she rides on a Vespa. You probably don't know. I don't know why I'm looking at you.
Audrey Hepburn?
Yeah.
Roman holiday?
Roman holiday. Oh, he knew it.
Come on, trivia. Trivia mind.
Yeah.
By the way, Travel Hacks DC is bringing back trivia on Saturday.
That's true. We gotta win this.
I'm gunning for Sherman, so let's see what happens.
We don't even know who Sherman is.
We don't know who Sherman is. I'm hoping he doesn't show up tomorrow on Saturday. Then we might have a shot.
Also, we're probably not going to win because I feel like I was shocked the fact that we knew any of that information.
Yeah. So Blaine is telling us, you'll need basically unlimited data because I wouldn't trust campground Wi-Fi.
Yeah. I was even looking up like Wi-Fi. There's several other YouTubers that kind of talk about Wi-Fi issues on their YouTube videos, like travel videos, within Twitter and stuff like that. And it's not even just with camping. It's anywhere that you travel, you kind of can't trust Wi-Fi to be strong enough to do live streams, which is unfortunate. So if we had like a planned live stream every week, it would be very hard to ensure if we're like on the road that we're going to be able to do it.
So I just looked down and Mark is saying
Roman holiday.
Derek
is truly the best.
But no, Jocelyn is saying that we're all gunning for Sherman, LOL, and Mark is saying, I know who Sherman is.
Oh.
And he's just that smart. I don't know. He must be like so fast. Like, I don't know, like so
Derek
fast.
And I also have very fast internet, which we were kind of wondering, like, is it?
Are we delayed? Like, what's happening? I felt like I was hitting it like the moment.
Right. So Sherman must also have very fast internet. I don't know where he lives. Mark must know.
I don't know.
But okay, so for everybody's background information, there is a trivia, like a DC trivia, that you can play kind of online.
Through Trip Hacks DC.
Trip Hacks DC's
and
channel.
he runs like I don't know if he runs a full tour company or if he's just a tour guide or
and
how
like
it
if you're
works
Alex Capicco, for example, who used
to
live in
Capicco,
DC,
you would do so good on this.
You should join us and do this with us on Saturday.
Yeah, you'd be good at it, bud. You really would.
So basically, it's like all these different history questions and like DC related questions.
Basically, they go to a monument in DC and then they use that as the basis for like 3 questions. And then you have up to 20 seconds to answer the question. Each second it takes you to answer it, they deduct 1 point from what you can get to. Each question is worth up to 20 points. And so it behooves you to be very quick. And I thought we were being very quick, but we were not quick enough. But it's a lot of fun. It was like it was one of those things where we were doing, we were getting into it.
Yeah, we were also very stressed out.
We're like, my God.
Because, okay, so like first, for a while we were like in 5th place out of like 70 participants. And then all of a sudden we got like in the top 3 and then it got really stressful.
Got real stressful.
Yeah.
But we were in it. We were in it
to win it. We ended up being 2nd.
By 3 points.
And so now we're determined to win. Even though we don't really know that much about DC.
But American history is
a lot of, like, Derek knows so many great random facts about all history, but
I think Mark,
American history is
I think
really
Mark was saying that, he's like really good at like Trivial Pursuit and stuff. And
See,
I agree. Like, I love Trivial Pursuit. I had never played it before, like senior year of high school. I think I played it for the first time. And I still remember, like, one of the things was like, if you dial this phone number, where does the phone ring? And all of us were just like, I have no idea. And it turns out it's the White House. So like Trivial Pursuit put the White House like phone line into it, and I was kind of like, no way. Like, so I dialed it and called it, and it was the White House. And I was like, wrong number. So I'm kind of curious on like how many like crank calls the White House gets because Trivial Pursuit was like, we're gonna put that in our game.
Yeah, maybe there was a law after that to take it out.
Yeah, it's fun though. So Darian is saying Savannah is awesome. I spent a lot of Patty's Days nights there on the old cobblestone streets.
So basically Savannah's great for Halloween, St. Patrick's Day,
anything
else.
Yeah.
Sounds like we really got to get there.
So Katie Smith is asking, is Alaska better as a cruise
and Darian
or
now
fly
lives
there?
in Georgia, so he's a credible source, everybody.
Yeah. So Katie is asking, is Alaska better as a cruise or fly there and rent a car? We've never been to Alaska, but I've heard great things about the Alaskan cruises. I know
It all
Bob
depends what you want to see.
I know Bob and Terry, I think, have done the Alaskan cruise like many, many years ago with my grandparents. So they might be able to chime in on that.
You know what we watched since the last live stream was that Crazy Alaska show. Where we watched the first episode of like
Winning Alaska
six
or
British
something like
couples basically competing to win an Alaskan homestead in the outback of Alaska, basically.
Just in the interior.
So we watched the first episode.
Yeah.
We're probably going to watch a few more, but like in our sweet time. But if you want to see more about what the Alaska interior is like, in order to kind of gauge if you want to do like more of the coastal Alaska trip versus interior, that might be something to look into.
Jocelyn is mentioning
what was that streaming? Which streaming service was that on? Prime or Netflix?
I don't remember. Netflix, maybe?
I think it was on Netflix.
Jocelyn is saying, though, that Savannah is her home. I've lived all over, and that's my home. We can chat.
Perfect.
So, very cool.
But you also feel great about Tucson, too, I believe. So
Yeah, Tucson's great.
Yeah.
Lori is saying that Asheville, North Carolina is beautiful, as is Charleston. So, there we go. So I didn't know this, Jocelyn Walters. That's awesome. We publish a magazine there called Savannah Scenes.
Oh, sweet.
Well, that's nice.
Blaine, we're coming to Savannah to meet you. End of story. You sound really cool.
Megan is telling Lori that AshevilleGlamping.com has some nice accommodations. So if you want to go glamping, we could do that.
I would love to go glamping, especially in Asheville.
Oh boy.
That sounds perfect.
Bonnie is telling us...
So AshevilleGlamping.com. I'm literally writing this down.
Do it. So Bonnie is telling us that there is nothing in Saskatchewan. Haha, JK. Lots of great fishing in northern Saskatchewan. But joke here in Alberta is that the last person to leave Saskatchewan should shut the lights out. That's brutal.
So
that is a brutal
Derek
burn.
told a story about meeting a Saskatchewan native on one of our last live
Saskatchewanian. I don't know what a person from Saskatchewan is called.
If anyone knows what a native of Saskatchewan is, put it in the chat.
Yeah, like a Glaswegian.
Saskatchewanian is our best guess.
Yeah. A Sasquatch.
Where did my
No, that's probably not it.
Go?
So Nick, Walmart cut all 24-hour stores due to COVID. Who knows if they'll revert back? That's interesting. I hadn't heard that. Blaine, Sorrel Weed House in Savannah is a must during Halloween.
For anyone, I used to work on the Nikon team. This is my post-it note.
And I went to a number of shows in Vegas. Oh God, why can't I think of the name of that show?
Which one are you trying to talk about?
CES. Sorry, the Consumer Electronic Show. And Nikon always has like these like bags that you can get to like put pamphlets in and stuff as you go to the different booths. And every time I go, like every day, I get a new one. So we just have like a ton of these Nikon bags because they make great like shopping bags.
Yeah,
if you're in Chicago or a place that charges you for grocery bags because of like a tax. You know, we
I don't
love
think
taking
anybody on
these
this chat really lives in Chicago too, but here in Chicago, that's like highly encouraged to bring reusable shopping bags during non-COVID-19 times. So it's nice to like stock up and we keep them in our car and like by the back door and stuff like that, just if we ever have to go out.
Your dad is saying that those are the Amelia Island friends. And I think they did tell us about them, actually. I did not know where that was, though. Blaine says, let's just own a campground. Let's just buy one.
Yeah, let's do it.
Paul is saying cilantro is coriander in the UK. Yes, it is.
I know! So every time that I do our basil and cilantro update on my Instagram story, I always wonder if I should switch it at some point and say basil and coriander update and if anybody's going to notice.
Yeah, I don't know. Thomas Schreiser is saying no RVs as I am a Hilton Diamond.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Crush it.
just
Nice.
get upgraded. It's great.
We at 1 year we were Hilton Diamond because of Derek's travel, but I don't think we are anymore.
Huh. So Nick is telling us that Hamilton was supposed to come out in October 20.
11.
I think that's meant to be 2021
The movie increases its odds.
at the Oscars.
This move increases its odds at the Oscars.
Since they have relaxed. Interesting. So Jocelyn is saying, I used to advertise in the scene for Coastal Heritage Society. That's fun. Alan,
Is Coastal Heritage Society like a museum that maybe we should go to? That would be pretty cool.
yeah, I don't know. Alan, though, is saying, that reminds me, any tips on finding restaurants on the road for special diets like gluten-free, lactose-free, etc.?
That's a great question. So with lactose free, I don't know if it's easier or harder than gluten free, depending on where you're at. But for me, because I will lean towards lactose free, I just will ask for substitutions in a lot of things. But it kind of depends on if you're like gluten intolerant or like really celiac. And so it's just trickier. Like, I'm not allergic to dairy, for example. I am just intolerant to dairy, so I could take a lactose pill. And if I feel like something is maybe a little risky.
I mean,
So-
like, when we go to French food, like, she just takes the pill and we eat escargot.
And it's funny
Like,
because
it's delicious.
in France, my reaction to dairy is a lot smaller than in the U.S. So like, it's not something that I need to pay attention to as diligently. That being said, with gluten free, because I know Mom tries to eat gluten free and everything like that, I would say speaking to the waiter, and there's always going to be waiters who don't really know or you don't really trust their answers. So I just would not be afraid to have them double check with the chef. And even if something shows up that you're a little bit worried about, have a backup snack. It's unfortunate that you kind of have to make that accommodation for yourself. But just always having kind of like a backup that you're not going to be super disappointed about is going to be the right way to go, because it's always better to be safe than sorry if you're truly going to have like a reaction, especially while traveling, especially while on a road trip. So that's my advice. Hopefully it helps. But yeah, I mean,
Totally agree.
beyond that, I like to look up what restaurants serve dairy-free options before I go to a place.
Yeah.
Or gluten-free, or call a place, like, especially if it's a U.S. destination, just calling a place and talking to somebody, people are going to be able to accommodate and, like, write down in advance. Maybe, we've even been to B&Bs where, like, in Scotland, for example, where when we booked, we said, hey, I'm dairy-free, I know that you offer free breakfast, we'd love to have like a dairy-free option with the yogurt, for example, knowing that like your breakfast is usually yogurt and eggs. Maybe I could have like eggs and toast instead. Just communication's key.
So Bonnie is telling us that cauliflower buffalo wings are so good. Interesting.
Is that I can't even think about what that is. Is that the breading is cauliflower? I'm
Buffalo wings
confused.
don't have breading, but cauliflower
I'm super
buffalo wings would
confused what that would
be,
be.
you make it out of cauliflower instead of meat.
Oh,
chicken.
so it's like a vegetarian buffalo
Yeah,
wing.
it's like a vegetarian buffalo wing.
Oh, interesting.
Cauliflower is great as like a substitute for things like mashed potatoes or like some sort of like very like starchy, like as a rice or something like that. But you can use it like as a meat substitute as well, like Bonnie is saying. For keto, I still eat a bunch of meat and stuff, so I would typically just eat buffalo wings because you can still get those and be keto if you use like, depending on what sauce you're using. So like buffalo sauce, it's like low carb and stuff. But yeah, no, I would try that, especially if I was trying to like cut down meat intake for any reason. I tend to eat a lot of meat, so I'm not usually looking to cut it down. But occasionally, You know, I remember there was a point in time back when we lived in New York that I was doing like, I don't know, I'd watch some TED Talk about a guy talking about like weekday veg, where you do like vegetarian during the weekdays, and then on the weekends you eat meat, as a way to kind of cut down your carbon footprint.
By the way, for everybody on this chat, we tried Beyond Burgers, and they're actually pretty good.
They are pretty tasty. Bob and Terry say, would love that recipe. Please email it when you have time.
Which recipe?
I don't know.
Ooh, text us. We're totally behind and we're not sure which recipe you were asking for. But we can do that.
To Travel on Tour, welcome guys.
Hi, Neil,
how you
Kimberly,
doing?
Welcome. Sorry that we're like, I think we're very behind now.
Yeah,
so if anybody else is new, hello, we'll get to you guys.
Lori Sims, as a family of 2 boys, we camped on Catalina with their full tents set up.
Catalina Island, I assume, out in California. Awesome spot. Very, very cool.
Yeah. So Jocelyn is saying thanks for the blog compliments, because everybody was raving about her blog, and that she's going to be framing the painting soon.
Awesome.
The kids did. That's cool.
We've been waiting for custom framing stores to open up and everything like that.
Yeah, you can actually order them like online from like Michael's and stuff, but unfortunately if you want to like use your own art and stuff, you actually kind of have to go there.
Yeah.
And right now they're all closed, at least here in Illinois. So that's sad. But custom frames are expensive. They have some that are on like clearance right now that I think are like good enough.
My parents framed a watercolor painting that I did in high school, but it had to be custom framed because it was like not standard dimensions and everything like that, and it's so tricky when you have things that you can't just buy a frame at the store.
So Mark is telling us that Sherman researched a lot of DC before he went there to intern for summer, and he went all in on getting the most out of DC. Interesting. That's cool. Paul Tipton.
Well, then Sherman definitely deserved to win over us, if that is the case.
Because we did not.
We were just a team.
I took AP US History.
Yeah, so Derek loves history.
Yeah.
And then there were certain questions in the last trivia that were like, what month is MLK Jr.
Day?
Which to me is like, it's obviously January. And Derek was about to say February, and I was like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, she got me with that one.
So there were times where I certainly helped our score.
Yeah, so Paul is saying, I keep thinking of Sherman from the American Pie films.
Yeah.
The Shermanator. Yeah, me too. That's pretty funny. So Mark
no one could catch Sherman.
So Mark is telling us that Rob's going to be switching it up a bit this week, so we'll see. Alex Capicco's in, bud. Yeah, totally. You're going to win now.
Yeah, Capicco's going to win this week.
We just like screwed ourselves. So Thomas Reiser, I took a tour with Rob's company at the beginning of March.
Nice. We would
I
love
assume
to
it
take
was
a tour
great.
with Trip Hacks DC next time we're in DC. And the road trip that we initially planned that went like into Canada, like up into the UP and then into Canada and then through New England and down, included a stop in DC. So if that one comes to fruition at all, that would be really cool to have that experience.
Yeah, so Eric is saying all the Savannah talk is definitely making him want to check it out.
I know, me too. I would love to go to Savannah now more than ever.
See, Bonnie, I'm right with you on this. So she's saying, regarding the whole Sherman thing, I'm dating myself, but I thought Rocky and Bullwinkle, Sherman and Peabody. Because, Sherman and Peabody going on crazy adventures through time. There's some really problematic episodes, by the way, of that. I think Sherman and Peabody has one where they go back to, like, the Native Americans, and it did not age well.
Hey, I think we guessed right. Mark Walters is saying it's Saskatchewanians, according to Wikipedia.
Nice.
And so Ryan Donahue said that too.
Yeah, so
nailed it.
Nick D, growing up, we had a Disney-themed Trivial Pursuit. The people category was always answered with Walt Disney. That's funny. Wow, that was quite the laugh.
I mean, that's just...
So Lori is saying that her parents did a
It's
cruise
marketing.
from Vancouver and flew a small plane to the Great Glaciers instead of the 8-hour bus ride to Denali.
Deny?
Denali? Is that supposed to be Denali, though?
Oh, maybe, yeah. Probably if we're talking about Alaska, yeah.
Yeah. Well, actually, what's really interesting, there's a bunch of national parks in Alaska, and more than one of them, the only way to really get to them is via, like, a small plane. So you had to, like, take one of those, like, little puddle jumpers, basically, to get to them, which is pretty interesting.
Bob and Terry said that your Uncle Michael was the one who maybe did the Alaskan cruise.
See, the reason why I think of you guys is because there was a very funny Christmas gift that I think Bob got, which we won't get into too much detail about, but it was pretty funny. I still remember that. I'm thinking it was hilarious. So Lori Sims, my parents... Okay, no, I already saw that. Saskatchewanian? Saskatchewanian.
To travel and tourists, how about we just call them Science? Cians?
Cians? Yeah.
I don't know what Switch It Up Eliz was in reference to from Mark Walters. We'll have to figure that out. Haha, native of Saskatchewan is the First Nations people. That's true. And I
Nobody else admits to being from there. That's brutal.
I thought I was like being... Yeah, I mean... Derek met a person who was not First Nations, but from Saskatchewan when he was in Scotland.
Yeah. So Lori is telling us that California banned plastic bags until COVID. We can bring our own now. They offer free bags. Oh, can't bring our own. Yeah. No, it's the same here.
We're
we can't do the reusable stuff. So.
Which is such a bummer because every time I walk home with like 8 plastic bags, it's because we've become so accustomed to not using them. Whenever we go shopping, I'm like, oh my gosh, we really do bring home so many plastic bags.
Which is great because we were running out of them, so now we have like a ton of them under our sink.
Which is great because now we don't need to buy bags for garbage bags.
For our tiny garbage cans.
Tiny ones.
Yeah, so Frank is telling us that residents of Saskatchewan are known as Saskatchewanians, or far less often as Saskatchewaners.
I mean, if we're talking about people who know trivia, Frank is that man. So Frank's my uncle. Hi, Frank. And yeah,
Frank.
Dr. Frank Daniese is going to know the answer about that. So here we go.
If it has to do with rocks, he knows that stuff. So that's good too.
So I think we've put this to bed. Frank laid down the law on that one.
Lori is telling us that I think it's the way the U.S. processes food versus Europe. I never have problems with my tummy when traveling.
Yeah.
The wine
that's not
too.
True.
I mean, they don't add sulfates to their wine, and it gives less headaches.
I definitely still react to cream, especially in the UK, but in France, my reactions are so much lower to anything dairy related, like particularly butter and cheese. Yep. So I mean, one more reason to go to France. Am I right, guys?
Yeah. Right? Yeah, so Blaine is saying that rice cauliflower is good on keto. Surprised how much I liked it.
Oh, I wanted to back up 2 seconds, actually. So I posted on my Twitter and on my Facebook page for Means to Travel. There's an article in Travel and Leisure this week that France is asking us all to eat more French cheese. Basically, they need us to buy French cheese.
Take one for the team.
Take one for the team, because there's been a lot less people buying French cheese during quarantine. And so if you go to the store and you're deciding between French or American cheese, they've let you know that they need that money. So we gotta do it. Honey. We gotta do it, guys.
Yeah, so Nick is asking a very important question. Eliz, is that a Yerman on your wrist? My girlfriend has quite the collection.
It is not, but thank you for asking that question, because it is a fake Yerman.
Well, it's not a fake Yerman. You bought that at the Gem show.
Oh, yeah. So, okay.
It's from an actual artist.
My family, almost every year, I go to a wholesale jewelry and show out in Tucson, Arizona.
It's called the Gem and Mineral Show.
The Tucson Gem and Mineral Show, and it's the largest gem mineral, fossil, and jewelry show in the entire world. And we get
It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's really
awesome.
cool.
There's stuff for everybody. Like Derek loves going for all the fossils.
I bought like petrified rock that was like carved like a head. Like it's just fun.
Yeah. And there's like an African art village there. It's just there's
Painted Jasper
something
is
for
really cool.
everybody, especially if you're into travel. But in particular, there's this one vendor who does similar to David Yurman, but way more affordable.
Oh yeah.
So
Like,
I am not going to
fraction of the
lie and
cost.
say this is Yurman. This is actually.
But it's cool because you know
Yeah.
the art. Like you've met the artist
I've
and
met
stuff. which is
yeah,
kinda cool.
I've met the person who made it. Really cool stuff.
Nick is saying how, I can't send anything without a typo, and Al is saying the one with the most typos wins. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, that's the trivia that we hold on this channel.
Yeah, Al is saying, I don't know how friendly the streets of Savannah would be for RVs.
That's true.
Cobblestone and all that stuff.
Is
Also
it
probably
cobblestone
a little bit
too?
more narrow.
Yeah, that'd be tricky. Yeah.
And Megan
yes,
is saying
is not particularly RV friendly if you want to do a walkable area. That's one thing about RVs in general. We'd probably just if we're going on the southern road trip or the northeast road trip, we would use just our car and probably stay in hotels. I think the RV was only if we were kind of heading out west. So that way we'd have a little bit more optionality in terms of the accommodations.
Yeah. Bonnie is saying that she has a gluten allergy and so uses the cauliflower a lot. And she makes a great cauliflower pizza crust, but doesn't try to sell it to her family as pizza. Instead tells them it's awesome cauliflower.
Totally. So with keto, he, and this is separate from a gluten intolerance completely,
Yeah.
We understand that. The keto diet is more low carb, and so he has found a Mission tortilla that is like, it's called the carb balance version.
It's way more expensive than a typical tortilla. Probably like twice as expensive.
Yeah.
But it tastes pretty good.
It's comparable enough in taste
Yeah.
that like you can still make tacos and pizzas and like I'll eat it. It's still really good.
And you can do this with any, like, just regular tortillas, too, if you wanted to like, make, like, if you want to try to, like, just do a real quick and easy, like, thin crust pizza type thing where, you just take it, you put a little bit of, like, olive oil on top, bake it at, like, 350 for 8 minutes, and it gets nice and crispy, and then you put your toppings on it, so you put on your, pizza sauce, cheese, we like mushrooms, and sausage. And then bake it for another 10 minutes, melts everything down, gets it nice and hot, bring it out, and like that's what we actually have for dinner tonight. So it's which is really funny because we cooked all this food, like all this batch food, and then we made these pizzas for dinner.
Yeah.
So.
But I'm sure you could find a recipe that like would be keto friendly too. That's cauliflower based or almond flour based or something.
Yeah,
like that.
there's a recipe that I think uses cauliflower for a pizza crust. It's called like Fathead, and it's like. I think it's mozzarella cheese and cauliflower that makes the crust, and that's supposed to be pretty good.
I was even just seeing, like, I think because we're on the same Wi-Fi network, I kind of get ads targeted at him towards me and vice versa. And so when I was on Pinterest earlier today, I was served an ad for, like, zucchini noodles, basically. And so...
Zoodles.
Yeah, but it was, like... zucchini lasagna more. So I think there's also those types of options too. It's so cool how there's all those like websites out there that share options that are like gluten-free, dairy-free, keto. You can just find whatever you need these days, which is awesome.
Alex Capicco, see you, buddy. Enjoy making dinner. And
thanks for joining, Alex.
One of these days we will make it back to LA and we'll hang out. It'll be great.
We're going to drive there, but we'll make it there.
Megan says, give me all the French cheese. So, there we go. And Lori also loves French cheese.
So, they need you to buy French cheese, apparently. So, everybody go out and buy your French cheese and don't feel any guilt about it. They need you to do it.
Yeah. What I will say is that my favorite thing about, like, every time I think of French cheese, I think of Rick Steves. and him talking about him, when he went to France, he didn't understand the whole like cheese thing and like the passion that these people have for their cheeses. And he talked about how there was this one guy talking to him about the cheeses, being like, "You must smell this. It smells like the feet of angels." And I'm like, ever since then, I can't like have French cheese without being like, "The feet of angels." It's like, and that's a good thing, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, it's delicious, so...
Yeah, it's delicious. We love it.
Regardless of that simile.
There's a place that we went to in Amboise?
Yes, Amboise. Mm-hmm.
And it's like right by the castle, the chateau in Amboise, and it's called L'Épicerie, I think. And it's like ran by this woman, and at the end of your meal, she'll always bring around this like tray of cheeses, and she'll kind of give you like the tour of France, basically from like where each of the cheeses are from. And so you like, we went there multiple times actually when we were staying down there.
It was that good.
It was super good food, and there was just something very homey about it. And every time we got the cheese, we're like, yeah, we'll pick 3, and it was great. It was a good time, and I feel like you can't go to France without like eating the cheeses and like escargot with like every meal. And
I love
so
blue
good.
cheese too. So one of my favorite French cheeses is Roquefort, which is a sheep's milk cheese, and they age it in caves in the like Roquefort area in southern France. So basically, it needs to be from those caves in order to be called Roquefort. It's divine. If you like blue cheese, that's the way to go.
Yeah.
But if you like soft cheese and stuff, there's always the Camembert, the Port Salut, or something like that too. That you can't go wrong.
Bonnie thinks that the best French cheese ever is Chateau de Bourgogne.
Ooh, we gotta try that. We haven't.
Yeah, I'll eat it.
Can we get it? Do we need to go to France to eat it, or do they import it other places?
I don't know.
Bonnie, we'll look out for your answer.
We can look it up. Julia is saying that the Gem Mineral Show is really amazing because we learned so much, and the amazing deals from all over the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's really a neat show, and if you can get in with like wholesale passes, you can get some phenomenal deals. I mean, like a lot of people go to the show because like they're actually buying.
Thanks so much for joining all the way
Paul,
from the UK.
thank you for being with us. It's super late there, so we really appreciate it.
We loved it having you.
Thank you, sir. So what most people go to the show though for is, they are actually people who are making jewelry. So they have like all these stands of just like chains of like beads, whether it's like coral or like semi-precious stones and what have you. So like people actually go there, they buy like massive amounts of beads or whatever, and then they go home and they turn those into beautiful creations that they then sell, which is pretty neat.
Yeah.
Okay, so Lori Sims, if you go to any coastal places, see if there are any sea glass fairs.
Oh, that'd be cool.
That'd be fun.
We've loved just even finding sea glass on the beaches and stuff like that.
Yeah. Frank is telling us that the show lasts for 17 days every February.
Yep.
Don't miss it.
Don't miss it. I think the African Art Village, Frank and Julia, tell me if I'm misspeaking, but that I think you can get in without like a wholesale pass, I believe. I think it's kind of open to the public the whole time. Let me know if I'm totally saying that wrong.
Blaine agrees that low carb tortillas are great for tacos, and you can't really tell the difference. Yeah, they're good. And we actually find that the wheat one. All right, so whatever, but the wheat ones we find have a better like texture to them. We think versus the flour ones that Mission makes. We just think that I find that the flour ones get a little bit like crunchy pretty easily when you're heating them up, like on a stovetop or something, whereas the wheat ones tend to like maintain their flexibility a little bit better. So if you're making tacos, I would suggest those. Bonnie, speaking of food, Alaska cruise was amazing. If you love crab, you'll love Alaska. I love crab, therefore I would love Alaska.
I love crab, and I would love Alaska.
Yeah. There we go.
I agree wholeheartedly.
There we go. Megan Morris, guilt over buying French cheese, blasphemy.
Yep. But just in case you needed an extra incentive, I have given it to you all.
There we go. Nick is asking if we've ever been to the Mars Cheese Castle. It's
No.
only an hour north of us.
Oh my goodness. So
I don't know what
Wisconsin,
that
I
is.
assume. We're going to need to look this
I'm gonna
up.
Google this
Is it
real
like
quick.
cheddar cheese and stuff like that? Because Wisconsin's
Mars.
super known for its cheddar cheese, so I'm curious.
Cheese
if that's-
Castle.
Megan says, I love blue cheese, but I have to go to Stilton for the win. That Stilton blue cheese is really good too.
It's in Kenosha.
There's also really good, I think Danish blue cheese as well.
The Mars Cheese Castle
In Kenosha.
is a
That's easy.
specialty food store.
We should just go tomorrow to Kenosha. That's literally an hour, away.
Is a specialty food store, delicatessen, and tap room, which sells a variety of consumable products in Kenosha, Wisconsin. The more you know. We've never been, but why not?
So Kenosha's very close to the Illinois-Wisconsin border. Super easy for us Chicagoans to drive up there.
And it looks like a castle.
Nice. Here, we can show you guys. It does look like a castle.
That is the Kenosha Mars
It's a castle with parking
cheese.
spots.
Oh, I was going to say with cheese, but yeah, that too.
Yeah. So then Bonnie says, Rick Steve says, when in France, if you drive by a cheese festival, stop. 100% true.
Yeah.
That Rick Steves, he's a genius, isn't he?
Yeah. Why not?
Megan Moore says, I need to hit up that jewelry show. My mom gifts me some Yerman and Lagos for holidays typically, but I am into more authentic, less overpriced pieces. Yeah. So actually, now I'm touching my ears. These earrings are from there as well. Most of my jewelry comes from that jewelry show just because I like to talk to the vendors and buy direct.
It's also cheaper.
And it's way cheaper.
We're
And
for the same budget, you get twice the jewelry.
yeah, my best friend Rachel, I don't know if she's still on, but her mom makes jewelry as well.
Yeah.
She sells within kind of the Indiana jewelry and art fairs and stuff like that. And so her mom goes out there every year to buy supplies and stuff because that's great for the raw materials. And if you're a jewelry maker, anyone from David Yerman and down actually go out and buy raw materials from that show because it's so massive. There's you can buy raw materials, you can buy pre-made stuff, everything. So yeah, it's a great one to do. And then they always have the last weekend of the show is open to the public. So if you have wholesale passes, you can go anytime within the 14 days or whatever, but the last weekend is usually open to everybody.
So, real quick, Jocelyn, I hope you feel better. Sorry that you had a migraine today, but have a good night's
Sorry,
sleep.
Jocelyn, to hear that
Thank you
too.
very much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Air hugs to you as well.
I do love that Mark said, good night at Jocelyn Walters, we love you.
We do love you.
That's funny.
Solidarity, Mark, on that one.
It's like when Eliz and I are occasionally on a live stream together and we're in the same room together, but we still talk to each other via the chat sometimes,
Yeah.
which is a lot
We'll
of
have
fun.
to hear if Jocelyn knew about the Tucson Gem Show before.
Yeah. All right, so Bonnie, real quick, this is super important, says that Chateau de Bourgogne cheese is like butter and whipped cream married and had a baby. Haha. Can find it in Canada.
Man, then I bet we can find it in the U.S.
I bet we can.
too.
I bet that would spread really nice on a warm baguette.
Yeah.
That'd be really good. So Mark is saying the spinach gluten-free are good, but the gluten-free normal-looking tortillas are horrible. I don't know. Never tried them. Because I don't typically go after the gluten-free. It's more about the carb piece of it.
I'm just going to interject
Yeah.
and say, I'm sure Jocelyn's already gone, but I used to get childhood migraines, and what my doctor recommended was 2 Motrins and a cold or warm cloth on my head covering my eyes, and about an hour nap, and it should cure it. And
I mean, you had those in high school or in college. I mean,
yeah, childhood migraines lasted for a while. I don't get them anymore, thank God. But that was the prescription, and it always it worked probably like 95% of the time.
That and massaging.
Oh yeah,
here.
yeah. If you're like in class and it would happen, massaging right here, on both sides of your hand. So right here, for some reason.
She would get them in college occasionally, and so I would sit there with her and massage her hands for her.
Migraines, man, they are the
Because
absolute
I'm a great
worst, though.
guy. I'd give her a cold compress.
Thankfully, I don't get them as an adult.
And
thank
massage
God,
her hands.
because they're awful.
Yeah, no, they're terrible. Gallivanting Gals, welcome. Thank you for joining.
Gallivanting Gals, Melinda and Tracy.
We have been out at the campground and just got back to the house. I assume that means that you were filming for your upcoming series,
so.
which we are super excited about.
We were
we've
talking
been talking
about you guys in high hopes of watching those videos.
Because we've been talking about like how like our YouTube feeds are basically just like van life and like RVs at this point, because we're like trying to figure out like,
and
what
SNL
to do.
sketches for me.
SNL sketches, the occasional like
I watched like every single SNL Mother's Day sketch this week, I think.
yeah, a survivalist video here or there. It's all sorts of stuff. So welcome. We're excited. We're super excited for your series. So. Blaine, we've been talking a lot about campground and campers earlier. LOL, Gallivanting Gals.
I know they missed their moment.
They missed
really.
their moment. We can come back to it. Why not?
We'll come back. Everybody's on the edge of their seats waiting for Gallivanting Gals to chime in.
Blaine is saying, I feel like the Home Shopping Network, touching your ears, showing us earrings. Look at these.
Except I'm not trying to sell them because I have no idea how. Like, they're one of a kind. I don't know. Go to the show.
Sorry. There's a lot of hellos going on.
Hellos are great.
Walter's World, you are all killing me with all this cheese talk.
Guys, go buy the cheese. France needs you.
All the cheese.
France
needs you.
us.
This is your moment to be a hero.
Yeah.
Buy French cheese. And buy Wisconsin cheese. Just buy cheese.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
We gotta go to Kenosha.
Doesn't matter. Just buy all the cheese. Alright, so Mark is saying that he'll let Jocelyn know about the whole thing. And I'm the best.
My dad's right that Motrin was the key. Aspirin and Tylenol didn't work for migraines. Yeah.
Derek is the best.
Derek is the best.
Thank you, Mark.
He is the best.
I don't hear it enough. Katie Smith, hi Gallivanting Gals. Hope your night is going well and feel better, Jocelyn. Migraines suck. Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Eric Brown says that it has been nasty and raining all day here, just hanging out enjoying the stream. Yeah, it was, Eric, you're down in Louisiana, right?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, so, I mean,
I think he's by Baton Rouge, though.
Yeah, by Baton Rouge. So it was pretty bad here from, like, a rain perspective. And I think it's supposed to rain pretty much throughout the weekend now. Although it cleared up pretty nice this evening, so kind of sucks that we didn't get out a little bit, but we're pretty busy today. But we went out with our coffee this morning because it was like there's like little peaks of blue sky.
Window.
There was like a window of like 20
blue
minutes. We're like, we were like talking about like the day, like what are we planning to do? I'm like, I'm gonna go out there right now because I don't know when it's gonna be nice again. So
yeah.
We got like 20 minutes of vitamin D. Gallivanting Gals, yes, lots of filming for the next 3 days. We also filmed our first interview with some of our RVing friends.
Yay, can't wait.
Very cool. Michael Mon says that his college migraine remedy was a 2-liter bottle of Pepsi and 3 extra strength Excedrin.
Interesting. I know Excedrin now makes Excedrin migraine. I have not tried that because I think it started becoming more of a thing after I started not having migraines as much. But that might be something to like a path to go down as well.
Yeah.
I never tried the Pepsi thing. For me, it was like what was so important.
Well, you don't drink carbonated beverages.
So I had them so bad that like parents had to like tell the school nurse and everything like that. And like if I ever came into the nurse and said I have a migraine, they had the Motrin in the office specifically for me. And if I was feeling badly enough, then they would have to send me home. So basically, it's like if you can just remove yourself for a little bit of time and cover your eyes. Derek's
knocking stuff over.
Knocking stuff over at this point. But it's the light sensitivity that really can get to you. So the more that you can remove yourself from light,
a lot of condensation on these things. So Gallivanting Gals says, I could eat charcuterie for every meal. Lots of cheese and cured meats. Probably not the healthiest, but I love it. No, charcuterie is great. And you get a little bit of that like stone ground mustard and like jam and stuff. It's
also,
so
I
good.
feel like we mentioned this podcast.
I also don't know how to eat charcuterie. I'm always like, what goes with what?
Okay, so we've
When am
mentioned
I supposed
this
to eat the little
podcast a
pickles?
lot as like a great road trip podcast, and that is my brother, and me.
Check it out. It's
Check it out. It's
comedic
hysterical.
gold. It's really
Stop
great.
wiping the table. There's nothing on the table. Just stop it, you crazy kid.
There's water on the table. Shut up. No,
Are we starting that? So anyway, the charcuterie though, they have like a whole episode where somebody writes in, because it's like an advice show, and someone's like, what is charcuterie? And they're like, we don't know how to describe this. We're going to go with what it's
is not charcuterie. They're like, charcuterie is not tennis balls. Charcuterie is on driftwood.
So if you guys want to listen to a really funny podcast episode, just Google my brother, and me, charcuterie.
It's really great.
But Megan's asking where my scarf is from. It's another one from Lake Como. I got 2 scarves in Lake Como because it's a great place to get them.
And if anybody remembers, she was wearing one as like a headband sort of thing, which was also from Lake Como.
That was the other one, yeah.
A few weeks ago. Nick D, have you been to Milwaukee? I stayed at a hotel that Jeffrey Dahmer committed some acts in. That would be creepy. I don't know if I would want to stay there.
But I have been to Milwaukee.
I've been to
several
Milwaukee.
times. Yeah.
Actually, a friend of mine...
Not at that hotel. I've never been there.
Who's sometime on here, he's on here occasionally, Brian, had his bachelor party in Milwaukee, and we had a great time.
Yeah.
I will say, though, there's a great burger spot in Milwaukee called... what is it called?
I don't know.
I'm going to look it up, and I'll tell you guys. But basically, it was super good, like, massive burger, and they would do, like, you'd get whole peanuts sent to your table, and they would come via, like, a rope pulley system, and they'd, like, come flying over, and then, like, the bottom would fall out, and they'd, like, fall into, like, a basket. It was, like, the craziest thing ever.
So, I have a family friend, but also friend, who lives in Milwaukee, and she goes on different, like, walking trips throughout quarantine, as we all probably do. Like, Derek and I go on longer walks on nice days and stuff as well. But she posts on her Instagram story all these different, like, historical sites throughout Milwaukee, and so it's just really cool. It seems like there's a lot of different history that you can learn about up there.
The answer is AJ Bombers. AJ Bombers is an awesome burger, like super delicious. And I've had my fair share of burgers.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Derek's brother also used to live in Milwaukee.
Yes.
But
we went there one holiday season. It was cold.
Okay, so we went for New Year's, and I think it was 2014, 2015. Does that sound right? Either way, it was literally a high of 12 degrees Fahrenheit. A high. So don't go then. But
we did go to a Culver's though while we were there, and I got like cheese curds because I was like, why not?
If Eric Zacarias or
so
Darlene
good.
are still on, please chime in on that. But
You guys like Culver's?
No, I mean like the cold factor. But in the summertime, it's beautiful. And there's beaches, and the city itself is just really.
I will say my brother
nice.
made up for it because he moved from Milwaukee to Sonoma County.
That's true.
And that's delightful.
Yes.
And now he's in Indianapolis, which is fine.
Yeah,
Kidding. Indy's great.
He
Gallivanting
went from
Gals.
Sonoma County to Carmel, and we're like, oh,
Carmel.
cool.
No, I'm just kidding. So Bonnie is saying, since Walter's World has had enough cheese talk, how about some potty talk? Japanese toilets are the best, right? Yes, they are actually. I've used one, and it is.
Derek got to go to Japan without
great.
me, but I've used not like the full functionality, but there's Japanese toilets in the Galeries Lafayette, on the Champs Elysees in Paris. So if you don't think you're going to make it to Japan anytime soon, but you are going to make it to Paris and you want to experience a Japanese toilet, just stop into the Galeries Lafayette. Hot tip.
Yeah, so Gallivanting Gals is saying that their doctor suggested Tylenol with caffeine and a little sugar.
See, Tylenol
Weird
just
combo,
didn't...
but it works if you catch it in time. If you like at the
Interesting.
early stages or something.
Yeah, Tylenol just did not work for me personally.
Michael Mon is saying that he checked the Excedrin labels between the regular and the migraine, and they were exactly the same.
That's interesting that Gallivanting Gals and Michael Mon are talking about, like, so they're saying sugar or Pepsi or something like that. And that's not, adding that dose of sugar was never a remedy that we experimented with. But I wonder if that's something that works for some people.
Oh, so Nick D is saying the Safe House in Milwaukee is a cool place to go, and it's a spy-themed bar.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
Okay,
I would go.
I'm going to write that one down. Where did I start writing things down?
I don't know.
I don't
Thomas
know. Oh, yeah,
Reiser
right,
is saying,
right.
speaking of cheese, I am missing Lou Malnati's, because they do a lot of cheese on their pizzas. But too afraid to come to Chicago.
Also, if you guys ever go to New York, Murray's cheese house is awesome.
It's a great spot. And they actually, there's the cheese shop, and then like 2 doors down, there's Murray's Cheese, it's like a restaurant, and that has a really, really good, or at least it used to have a really good brunch. It's been many years since I went there, but
you can
it
get
was really good.
a grilled cheese. You can
They
get
have mac and cheese.
literally
They got a lot of
anything
stuff.
that's cheese related.
But they also have normal brunch fare, like mimosas. Which we saw, there was a really
mimosas
funny...
without cheese.
What were we watching when it had the whole thing about the cutaway to... Oh, I was watching something.
By the way, hi Nick Peterson. We have
Nick!
two Nicks on, so I just want to make
Welcome,
sure
Nick.
I've said hi to both of them.
So I was watching a thing on, actually it was about keto recipes and stuff, and they were talking about a funny clip from Always Sunny, and it was where they were walking through a restaurant, and the guy's like, "Oh my god, you told me there was no alcohol here. Look, they have mimosas." And Danny DeVito's like, "No, that's just orange juice." And he's like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, it's just the mixer." And they're like, "Who drinks mixers straight?" And it's this whole thing about I don't know. In New York, at least, mimosas are a big thing.
We also liked peach bellinis.
Oh yeah,
That
peach
was
Bellini,
renowned
because she can't
at
do
brunch.
oranges, so peach Bellini was
Yeah,
always
on top of being lactose intolerant, I'm also allergic to oranges, so that makes it fun.
Yeah. Nick D, Bonnie, depends if the Japanese toilet is one of the newer tech ones or the traditional hole in the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes it very different.
In Japan, though, you never experienced we only experienced hole in the ground
No, it was
in
just
China.
No, it's my experience in Tokyo was... My experience in Japan was just Tokyo, and just the very central part of Tokyo. It was great. I don't know. It was really nice. Blaine is saying, "I thought you were just used 2 of Derek's ties and made a scarf."
We still...
I do have ties.
Blade actually wasn't part of the, fabricated lie that we all created on the Walter's World live stream about Derek's tie collection.
I don't know if it's fabricated. I have
You
lots
do
of
have ties, but we did not give a tour of your
No,
tie
never.
collection. Ever. But he does have ties.
Thomas is saying Amtrak is normally a great way to get to Milwaukee. I've never...
Yeah, from Chicago,
Yeah,
it's really easy to
I've
do
never
that.
taken the train up there. I've only driven. But yeah, that's a cool spot.
Yeah, we could take the subway and then jump on the Amtrak.
Gallivanting Gals, I totally agree with you. Nick D's story about staying in a hotel where Dahmer did some stuff. Yeah, I don't know if I can stay there either. That's creepy.
There's like, you'd be surprised, like in every city there's something weird like that. We had, when we lived in New York, there's like a weird situation that kind of happened in one of the Midtown hotels when we lived there. And it was a hotel that I actually walked past every single day to and from work. And it's like, ooh, I don't like that. It's like creepy stuff happened here. And that was in like modern times too.
Yeah. So, Gallivanting Gals Milwaukee went to Summerfest one year. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
Also, Cops is a great place for a burger.
I have always wanted to go to Summerfest.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun.
We just
Actually,
keep being out of town when it's happening.
Yeah, well, not this year. It's not happening
It's not
either.
happening this year. So we're in town.
We're in town.
They're
It's
out
not
of
happening.
town.
Yeah. We actually have some friends in Milwaukee and stuff, so maybe we need to get up there.
Yeah, we'll
sometime.
get up there at some point.
Especially like Lauren and stuff.
Easy peasy. We can get up there on our way to the UP.
Yeah.
We could do that as a day trip from here too. It's literally like 2 hours away.
Oh, so see, Nick is saying that Safe House is the name of the spy bar in Chicago and Milwaukee. So I guess they have one here too.
Oh,
Great.
that's nice.
Megan Morris, so you're talking about an elevated Five Guys with a
Way to
boogie way to distribute...
bougie way to distribute peanuts.
Oh, I looked at that as boogie.
So, I used to
boogie
have
woogie.
a guy who is allergic to peanuts plus all tree nuts.
Oh, yeah.
And he literally...
You had a guy?
I used to have a guy work for me, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Who was allergic to all those things. And he specifically would call out Five Guys. And he said, I can't even walk into their door frame. Like, that place is covered in peanut dust.
What I do love about Five Guys is you get, like, their bag of fries, and it's just, like, grease. Like, that's how you know it's good.
Yeah.
There was a Simpsons
Five Guys
episode.
is really good.
There was a Simpsons episode at one point where I think Homer found out that if you became like too big to work, you could get like unemployment benefits and all this stuff. So he's like, "Oh, that's what I'm gonna do," and so he decides to just eat the most unhealthy stuff he can think of. And he had this whole theory that you knew it was unhealthy if you rubbed it on paper and it became clear, because that's how greasy it was. And so they go to like the Krusty Krab, and he gets like the Krusty Krab sandwich, or not Krusty Krab. That's SpongeBob. That's SpongeBob. But he goes to like wherever the clown.
That.
He goes to the place where the clown is. I thought it was called like a Krusty Burger or something like that. But whatever it is, he goes and he gets like the fish sandwich and he rubs it on the wall, and suddenly like you can see through the wall. That's how like unhealthy this stuff is. So he's like, you know that. It's great.
The Simpsons, you guys.
I love The Simpsons. I haven't watched it in years, but I still love it. Nick is saying that's a heat wave for winter in the Midwest. When
Yeah, the high of 12 degrees. Darlene says Milwaukee was bitterly cold, so she was there, and it was cold.
Sorry,
Thomas
I
Reiser says
skipped.
he loves Chicago-style pizza. Oh, now you're
I skipped a
moving
lot.
stuff around. Wait, where did Thomas Reiser's thing go?
I don't know. We'll come back to that.
Oh wait, he says, I love Chicago-style pizza. I was local for 30 years. So that's the deep dish. We like deep dish too. It's just not something we typically order on like a Friday night sort of thing. It's kind of like, if people are in town, we will go to a deep dish pizza. We have Illuminati's delivery pretty close to us, but like we'll order from Peace
We'd walk to
Pizza.
that. No, we won't. You won't let me.
But if
Every
if
time
it's
I'm like, let's
between-
get Peace Pizza, you're like, no. I'm like,
But if it's between Peace or like Illuminati's, we
Yeah.
would probably choose Peace. I think we're just like bad Chicagoans.
Gallivanting Gals is saying that we're allowed to beat up on Indy because Nashville is her home.
Perfect. So we love Nashville, and I think we were talking to you guys about that last night a little bit. But so I've been once. Derek and I went in January, and it was freezing cold, but we still had a blast because we love country music, and we, since going there, have met a country singer. and his wife, who also sings. And we would love to go back and visit them because we just think that they're super fun to hang out with, and people that like know the music industry in Nashville are the good people to know there. But also Derek did his bachelor party in Nashville and had such a great time. And the best story is that during Derek's bachelor party weekend, my friend and I, this was when we still lived in New York, my friend and I went to the Sam Hunt concert at Madison Square Garden. And Derek and his like friends and brothers and stuff were at an Airbnb in Nashville. And they start looking around the Airbnb, and there's all these photos around, and it's all like pictures of Sam Hunt and like crew, basically. And Derek texts me and he's like, I think the owner of our Airbnb somehow is connected with Sam Hunt. And we're like, no way, because we were at the concert right then. And so then Derek texts the Airbnb owner and goes, hey, awesome place, really great for our bachelor party. By the way, my wife is at the Sam Hunt concert right now in New York City. And the Airbnb owner texts him back and goes, oh, that's crazy, maybe we'll see her. It turns out that the guy renting out the apartment that they were all staying at was Sam Hunt's manager. So if any of you guys are aware of Sam Hunt, he's kind of like pop country, pretty famous country guy. So that was such a fun way to connect to Nashville. Makes me wish that I had my bachelorette party in Nashville, but my bachelorette party was actually in Washington, D.C. Did I learn any history facts while I was there? No, I did not. So that's not going to help with that.
A couple quick things about
Derek's back, and he apparently is going to add.
About the Nashville thing and the Sam Hunt stuff. So it was the next day, actually. So she'd gone the night before to the Sam Hunt at Madison Square Garden. And what really tipped it off to us, because I wouldn't have known what Sam Hunt looked like in pictures. So, like, that wouldn't have meant much to me.
Like, he knew the songs.
I knew the songs and stuff. Obviously, I know who he is. But, like, I don't know what he looks like. I don't watch, like, music videos or anything. So what it was as we walked through the house and we got to the back of the house by the kitchen, there was, like, a bookshelf. And on this bookshelf was, like, an AMA award for, like, Sam Hunt and, like, all this stuff. And I'm like, that's weird. Either this person's like a super fan or like... So then I looked up on my phone Sam Hunt to see what he looks like, and that's when we noticed, like, oh, Sam Hunt's in a lot of pictures in this house. That's weird. And we were able to, like, use, like, deductive reasoning to figure out, oh, it's because these guys are, like, part of his, like, management team or whatever that live in this house. And it was a sweet house. It was really cool.
So I wish I had been there during that weekend, but I also don't because I went to the concert.
Yeah, you would have missed the concert.
But
yeah,
Nashville's awesome,
Nashville's
especially if you love country music.
Yeah, it's great. We smoked cigars, we ate pizza, we went to a lot of honky tonks and drank a lot of beer, so it was a good time. Gallivanting Gals loves Murray's. So awesome. Best grilled cheese ever.
Yes, it is. Good. It really is.
So Nick is telling Michael Mon that he is in west side of Lake Minnetonka.
Lake Minnetonka is awesome. I've been to Minnesota several times, and I've been to Lake Minnetonka. It's beautiful.
So Michael Mon is saying, went to school at UW Milwaukee. Coming from Minnesota, Milwaukee seems pretty temperate.
That's true. You guys, we're talking to the wrong people. Complaining about how cold Milwaukee is.
Okay, yeah, but
like we've got all these Minnesota people and like Canadians on here.
At the same time, Chicago gets pretty cold, so like we get cold. It does,
yeah.
I mean, polar vortex hits us pretty hard.
It snowed several times in April.
I mean the polar vortex last year, 2018. Mm-hmm. Not this last summer, but not the last winter.
Polar vortex February 2019.
Yeah, that was brutal. I still remember it was so cold that we didn't go to the office. Like our office was closed for that, and like suddenly I got like an email because I do this like photography stuff, and like they were like, hey, for anybody who wants to go, you can get into the into the Hancock building up to 360 Chicago for free, and you can bring like tripods and stuff like that because it's so cold. It was like a polar vortex special. So I was like, I'm going over there. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I went and I got some like really cool pictures of like, I mean, it was so cold that everything was just like frozen, and there was like really cool like steam coming off all the buildings. It was pretty neat.
Yeah.
Nick D, do you eat Chicago style pizza, or is that just for tourists? Personally, I love it, but I am a tourist.
Yeah.
No, it's a thing. It's a thing that people eat here.
Especially Pequods. So like, there's the tourist places to eat at, and then there's the local Chicago style places to eat at. So if you're a tourist, you might eat at like Gino's East or
Giordano's
in River North.
Although not just tourists, like locals do eat that stuff too.
They will, but like
they'll eat from those
if you're
places.
just ordering Chicago style pizza and you live like on the north side or something like that, or like we kind of lived like northwest along the blue line, you might order Pequods, which I don't feel like is a tourist place.
No, it's not.
It's a locals place.
Pequods is one that like people like don't know much about because it's just there's one location. It's not like a chain or anything like that. I mean, Gino's and Giordano's. I mean, Giordano's you can get in New York City. I mean, they have one down at South Street Seaport, and that's been there for years. I think Indianapolis has one.
And like Lou Malnati's is the same, where like it was a little bit slower to franchise, but all of a sudden there's franchises everywhere.
So we really like that like local thing, and so like for us, like if people are coming into town, we want to give them that like Chicago style pizza experience. We'll typically order from Pequods because it's a little bit different. It's less mainstream, and we feel like that's a little bit more special. And it's good, like it's really good pizza. Highly recommend it. We were introduced by a good friend of ours, Brenna, who's sometimes on the chat. So
yeah,
thanks, Brenna. But yeah, so the problem that I have with Chicago style pizza, and like if people always ask like the New York versus Chicago, and they're two completely different like eating experiences. Like Chicago style pizza, you need to know that you're gonna be hungry an hour before you're hungry. Like you can't like, oh my god, I'm hungry, I need something to eat right now.
So we love sausage pizza, but if you go to Gino's East, it is.
Or at least it used to be. We haven't been there in a while, but
if you go to Gino's East and you order sausage pizza, the sausage is a thin layer of sausage across the entire pie.
Yeah.
Like it's not little chunks, it's not little pieces. It is
sausage
a
in every bite. It's very good.
So you fill up in one slice.
Yeah, I mean it takes 45 minutes to bake a Chicago style pizza. As opposed to like New York, you can get a pizza in like 10 minutes. It's pretty quick. They throw it in this like super hot.
New York also is unique compared to Chicago in terms of like New York, you can go to a place and order a slice.
Yeah.
And that's not so much a thing in Chicago as much.
Not at all. Now, if you're looking for like a more unique pizza experience here in Chicago, I do recommend a lot of people go to Chicago Pizza and Oven Grinders. Which is really good. Used to be like a cash-only type establishment. It's pretty close to where I think the St. Valentine's Day Massacre was. So like, near where some like the gangster tours go by. But really cool place. Actually, Bob and Terry, don't know if you're still on, but they took me there for my first time, which was really cool. And when I was living with them one summer in Chicago when they still lived up here. And, awesome place, very unique experience. The way they do it is almost like a pot pie type thing where they take a bowl and they put all the toppings in the bowl and then they put the dough over the top and they bake it like that. And then they bring it to when it's done baking, they bring it to you and they like flip it over, take the bowl out, and you have like this like dough bowl of like pizza. And it's
we
super
probably
good.
Missed you, but good night, Michael Mann.
Bye, Michael Mann.
Thanks for joining.
So yeah, I mean, there's so much pizza to like explore and like try here in Chicago.
Yeah, you will not be without pizza in Chicago. That's for sure. So Megan Morris is saying to the Gallivanting Gals, would not consider myself a potential buyer of an RV, but I'm excited to see your upcoming RV series.
Yeah.
And we are on the fence about RVs right now, and so we are certainly excited for that series as well.
My thought process is that likely what we'll do is we'll run an RV. Maybe if we go any RV
If we do
route,
like a longer
we
road
would
trip.
we would rent an RV for a period of time and figure out if we actually enjoy the experience. Because, like, it's not for everybody. So, like, we have to be honest with ourselves. Like, is it for us? We don't know.
We have we literally have no idea.
Right? Like, the first time, like, we might love it, and then the first time we have to do, like, the Blackwater, Greywater stuff, we might be like, nope, not for us. But we'll try it, and we'll see.
Yeah, we're not about to, like, sell our house and buy an RV. We don't know.
There's some, like, great deals, though, that you can get in terms of, like, you know, down payments very reasonable. Like, for a used RV, you can get, like, the monthly payment's pretty low.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I mean, come on, why not? Like, seems cool.
Derek's cousin actually bought a used RV and upgraded it.
Yeah, totally, like, gut rehabbed it
Yeah.
and stuff, so.
But she's super good at that stuff, and we are not. So.
Well, and her husband's an engineer who
Yeah.
does, like, who builds diesel engines.
Yeah.
So, like, he can fix anything.
But we're self-aware of our abilities.
And limitations.
Limitations,
Or
yes.
lack thereof. So yeah, I'd have to be like, Candace, we just bought an RV. We're gonna bring it down to you.
Yeah, can you help
us fix it? And then we'll take it out to my cousin in California and be like, electrician,
Yeah.
we need you. So we'll see. Eric Brown, I've always been interested in RVs, but most of my travel is solo, so hopefully in a few years I can make that happen. Yeah, cool.
Totally.
Nick
But
Pearson.
Eric Brown's done some epic road trips, if I remember correctly, so that'd be cool.
So Nick Peterson is talking about, like, toilets, because we were talking about the Japan toilets and stuff, and he said for him it was weird in Europe because paying for it was super weird.
Yes.
Both in the Netherlands and France. And that can be a thing where it's like if you get off a plane and you have to use a restroom and then you realize you don't have, like, euros or something, like...
When I was in
crap.
Belgium, I was at a train station. I think it was the Brussels, like, Midi train station, which is the main one in Brussels. And you had to pay to even use the bathroom at the train station. So you kind of, like, want to optimize the entire time you're in there. And you're like, okay, so just, like, want to make sure that I'm, like, doing everything. I'm going to, like, do my makeup in here, make sure everything's good. You kind of, like, spend a little bit more time in there, I think, too, just to get your money's worth.
Yeah. So, Megan Morris is saying I'm waiting for Derek's closet tour.
Well, that's
I'll be waiting a little bit longer then.
it's a lot of
not
Target
clean.
t-shirts and suits and ties.
Suits, ties, Target t-shirts.
Yeah.
You know, that's all I got.
What else do you have?
Scotch and soda pants. I don't
He
know.
does invest in, like, nicer jeans over the past couple years because Derek, his inseam is shorter. So, like, he used to buy
Like
jeans
the only
from the Gap.
Yeah, like the only jeans that I could buy that fit me were, like, from the Gap, and they were not comfortable. And then she got me to go to, like, Saks or something like that, or
Bloomingdale's
in New
we
York.
lived in New York, and we lived, like, 2 subway stops from Bloomingdale's.
So she got me to go there and, like, try on, like, nice jeans, like designer jeans, like Paige and stuff. And I was like, oh my god, these are so
Yeah.
comfortable. I'm like, I
So-
can't go back now.
So now he's been, like, obsessed with Paige jeans, and so they last longer, though.
They're, like, stretchy.
So we'll buy them for him
It's
and
great.
then get them hemmed. So that's, I guess, would have been a cool part of Derek's closet tour, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Nick D, I just hate paying for toilets in Europe. Yep.
I know.
And-
And you always have to have, like, exact change. It's
Yeah,
so annoying.
So stupid. Nick D, the Ambassador Hotel, if you want to watch a movie, you had to get a DVD player from the front desk. That's weird.
The Ambassador Hotel. Which city was that in? I feel like that sounds
No
super familiar. But I can't place it.
So, Gallivanting Gals is letting us know that in SF you also have to pay for toilets,
Really?
which is interesting. I don't remember doing that, but I guess it probably depends on where you're at.
We were in San Francisco in November, but we stayed at, like, a Hilton in Union Square, and then went to a wedding, his cousin's wedding, who's the electrician. We went to his wedding outside of San Francisco, so most of our time was spent outside. But we've been to San Francisco several times, especially because Derek's brother used to live in Sonoma County.
Yeah. Lori Sims is saying in Europe, don't pay for toilets. Instead, go grab a drink and then use the toilet because it's free then. Yeah, no, that makes sense. So Bonnie is saying that she was researching a short haul weekend trip to Portland, Oregon, clicked on the wrong link, and now I want to go to Maine. That's awesome.
Portland, Maine. Okay, I can speak intelligently about Portland, Maine. I went there a few years ago with a bunch of girlfriends, or just 2 girlfriends, on our way to Acadia. Portland, Maine. So when I used to go there as a teenager with my family, it was still cool then, but it has become exponentially cooler in the past couple years. I feel like the restaurant scene has just exploded there. There's like amazing chefs that have opened restaurants in Portland, and then just being on the coast and you
talking about Maine.
Yeah, Portland,
okay.
Maine. And then you're near like Cape Elizabeth and stuff like that. Like the lighthouses. Just,
Her Cape.
Yeah, my Cape. But
Plus, she loves lighthouses.
I do love lighthouses. It's like a special place in my heart because I love painting lighthouses with watercolors. But just the entire experience of going to Portland, Maine is so, I don't know, relaxing, and the people there are just super nice. The coffee scene there too, on top of the food scene, is really cool. So if anybody wants to talk to me about Maine, I'm all ears, because I really want to go to Maine this summer and do the road trip all the way there. I'm just concerned about accessibility at this point. So we've created a lot of contingency plans. Oh my gosh, I can't believe you just grabbed that.
This is Port Elizabeth?
No.
Where's this?
I just painted that as like a lighthouse thing. It's not a thing. It's not a place.
But it's so pretty.
I painted that in high school.
I love it.
Thanks, babe. I'm not that good anymore. I haven't practiced lately.
It's on our wall.
It is. It's on our wall in our house.
Right now it's going right here.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for not going all the way back. Come back.
I need to get another Truly.
No, you don't. Just drink your water. You've had 4 Trulies. This is going to be good. Just drink your water. It'll be good. But Galvanting Gal says Portland, Maine's a great town. It truly is.
Never been, but yeah. Krusty Burger! That's it, Nick. Thank you. Krusty Burger.
From The Simpsons.
From The Simpsons. Alright, Katie Smith. No, but public toilets are very few and far between in SF.
Yeah. They really are.
The first 30 seasons...
In SF, I try to go to toilets in like the restaurants or the shops or something like that.
So Nick is saying that the first 30 seasons of The Simpsons is on Disney Plus, which makes sense because Disney bought Fox, and Fox is obviously the studio that made The Simpsons.
I feel like I knew that there were 30 seasons, but it hadn't sunk in. That is so many.
Yeah, that's insane. Yeah, so what's really cool is, and you know, he's not on here anymore, but somebody who was on here used to work at Fox. And when I was out there one time, he gave me the studio tour of the Fox studio, which was super cool and a really neat experience that I'm always going to remember. And, you know, one of the cool things about it is, like, you'd go and, like, they'd have, like, some of the shrubs or, like, statues and stuff of, like, different characters. And one of them was, like, Homer Simpson, because, you know, that's the house where all the writers for, like, The Simpsons would do their writing and stuff on the lot, and that was all super cool. So that's why I remember Fox. They did The Simpsons. Still do.
So Blaine asked Derek, being in Chicago, do y'all get to any sports games since there are so many things?
No.
So that's funny you directed that at Derek. Because I've probably been to more sports games in Chicago than Derek has. Not just because I grew up here,
She
but
grew up here.
because I just happened to have gone to more since we moved back.
What have you been to since we moved back?
Cubs games. But, okay, so I've been to Blackhawks hockey games. You know what I haven't done is a Bears game.
I've never been to a Bears game.
I've been to a concert at Soldier Field.
I've never been to a Blackhawks game. I've never been to Chicago Fire. I have never been to the Cubs or the White Sox. So I've never been to any Chicago sports teams.
I have been to more New York sports team games than Chicago ones, even though I've spent most of my life in Chicago.
In New York, in the 8 years that I was in New York, the only sports that I really went to was, I think, went to like a Rangers game or something like that, which was awesome because it was like primo seats. Actually, that's not true. I went to a Yankees game too and had awesome seats at the Yankees, actually. The chairman of our company has like season tickets, and I got them one time, and it was like awesome. Like literally like 30 feet away from like Jeter and A-Rod as they were like warming up. It was pretty dope.
That's Yankees.
The better part of that, that's the Yankees.
Oh, I thought you were saying Rangers for a second.
No, I was saying I got the
Oh,
Yankees
sorry.
tickets. The best part of that though was like I got the tickets that like came with like free lobster and like sushi and like prime rib and like all this stuff. I was like, this is awesome. And the Rangers game I went to was similar, where it was like there was like lobster tail and
I went
like
to
all
a
that. I was like,
Madonna
oh, this is
concert
awesome.
at Yankee Stadium that we were in a box and had that experience.
Super cool.
It wasn't a sports game, but it was the same thing, and it's decadent. It makes you feel like a fancy pants.
Yeah, I guess I've been to a few Yankees games, but yeah, no, I mean that's all cool. I tried to go like 2 years in a row to Cubs games, but the first year got rained out, and the second one I unfortunately suddenly had to go to Europe for work, so I wasn't able to actually make it. So
Darn,
had to go to London.
Anyway, so moral of the story is Derek and I theoretically love Chicago sports teams for the most part, but like we're not the types of people that would probably have like season tickets, especially with our travel schedules.
Yeah, I would love to be that person though. Like I would love to have season tickets. Like that'd be really cool. Actually, a buddy of mine used to have season tickets to the where was that? The Nets. That was pretty cool.
So Bonnie's saying Portland, Oregon, probably not, and versus Maine, not much in common besides the name. Which one is more foodie? And that's funny you ask that, Bonnie, because I think they're both kind of equally like foodie and hipster. And we were joking about that even a couple years ago when I went to Portland, Maine. We were like, my goodness. It's funny how they're very different cities, but they're also just both in their own way coming into their own. So, I mean, if you're trying to compare the two, they're both definitely worth a visit. They are different, despite being similar in name, so...
Galvant and gals, we've been known to hang with a few musicians, but mainly Kings of Leon. Not country, but always a good time. Well, that's cool.
I've been to a Kings of Leon concert. Amazing. I've been to Kings of Leon one time in New York City, and it was so much fun.
Nick D is saying
and also,
that,
if you're going to hang out with them, I will invite myself. Thank you.
Nick D is saying that The Simpsons will outlive all of us. Yes.
Yeah, that's true. Fair point.
Yeah. And Nick Peterson is saying, wow, what a coincidence about Sam Hunt and the Airbnb. Yeah, that was kind of weird, but fun. Galvanting Gals, well, they are both foodie destinations, so it sort of depends on what you like. Seafood in Maine is the best. Big food truck culture in Portland, Oregon.
Yeah, so they're kind of agreeing. It's like, it's hard to say like which one's a more foodie place because they both are. It's just they're different but awesome in their own rights. Nick Peterson says, something about. Oh yeah. Oh, I didn't realize that Disney owns The Simpsons now. Oh, I was not aware of that. Megan Morris says, Judgment Free Zone. I'm smashing my vodka sodas with a splash of pineapple. Quarantine drinking. Crush it. I fully support this. And vodka pineapple is amazing. We also have pineapple. So Derek and I have pineapple juice in our refrigerator. And we made like what we thought were going to be really good cocktails, but we like kind of made them up, quarantine experiments. And we did a vodka pineapple, but we did it with cucumber infused vodka, and it was not good. So he just went and got a pineapple Truly.
I didn't.
Because of this
Passion
combo.
fruit.
Oh, I thought it was... So we're talking about vodka pineapples. One of his other ones was a pineapple Truly. These are his empties.
I'm not making a pyramid this time. I like our first one.
But Megan was saying that she's drinking vodka pineapples.
Vodka sodas. Nice. Disney will one day own us all. Nick D. Nice. I mean, they control the box office. I mean, if you look at Disney, especially having, acquired Fox.
Derek used to do media finance, so if you guys want to talk to him about Disney acquisitions...
Never mind. Somebody's calling me a nerd. But yeah, Disney's, but they're crushing it, right?
Yeah.
Lucasfilms, Marvel Entertainment, they've done some pretty phenomenal acquisition. Pixar, come on. They control the box office.
Maybe Derek's going to start his own live chat where he just gets in, really in depth into his awesome knowledge about history and Disney.
History and Disney. Nick Peterson, I highly doubt I will make my country concert this summer. Rascal Flatts. July 31st, fingers crossed, but I doubt it. Yeah, July 31st seems tough. Rascal Flatts would be really cool, though. We really enjoy... let's see...
You're gonna say, so Rascal Flatts and Eric Church have a rivalry. We love going to Eric Church concerts, and we have friends who love Rascal Flatts, and they give us crap for going to Eric Church concerts because the two artists are about contention.
The issue is that
but we have respect for both. So
all right, so the backstory there is that
Eric
Church opened for Rascal Flatts, and they got kicked off the tour because they kept going Eric Church. Well, yeah, of course, it was Rascal Flatts' tour. So Eric Church got kicked off the tour, and when he got kicked off the tour, they brought in a new, whatever they call it, opening act, and the opening act that they brought on was, do you know?
I don't know.
Taylor Swift. So they brought Taylor Swift on, and so Eric Church, I guess, sent a letter to Taylor Swift when she got that gig saying you owe me your first platinum record or something like that, for basically you got this thing now. And I guess when she got her first thing, she actually did send Eric Church a thank you note and all that kind of stuff. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, we love his music. It's really cool.
We love all
and
of
we
their
like
music.
Rascal Flatts too.
All three. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not getting into any sort of conspiracy theories within the country world, that's for sure. Okay, so Gallivanti Gals says to Bonnie, you will love it. I'm not sure which Portland they're talking about. Such a great fun town. For me, being on the water is always a bonus. So that's probably Portland, Maine, I'm imagining. It's so nice in Portland, Maine.
So Thomas,
if Derek and I can get to Portland, Maine this summer, we're definitely going to be filming videos about it. Derek's never been. I have been.
We've been where?
4 times.
To where?
Portland, Maine.
Oh yeah, no, never. Have I been to Maine? I don't even think I've been to Maine.
There you go. Derek and I need to go to Maine, but Maine's, rightfully protecting. Itself from visitors right now.
So Thomas Reiser is telling us that Milwaukee and Chicago have similar weather. So
they do.
That, we're justified in feeling cold, which is nice.
Yeah.
Bonnie, hello from Canada.
You
want to talk cold?
Fair enough.
So Nick is letting us know that Giordano's and Portillo's are starting to pop up in Minnesota.
Yeah, Portillo's was initially just Illinois. Then, when I was growing up, it kind of expanded into Florida, then expanded to Arizona, and it's, now kind of going everywhere. And, good for them. You kind of have to be I can't fault you for, you're so successful that you can go all those places. But, it kind of diminishes how...
The specialness.
Yeah, the specialness that it is with Chicago.
That said, we did more than once order, back when we lived in like a different part of town, we would order from Portillo's occasionally and have it delivered and like get like the shakes and like their burgers. They're known for their hot dogs, but like their burgers are actually really good.
One of our friends
Really
from New
tasty.
York came to visit us and stay with us back before we lived in this house, and we lived in River North, very close to the original Portillo's. And we took her, and she was so determined to get a Chicago-style hot dog. And they have really, really good Chicago-style hot dogs. If you're ever in the mood for, like, getting the real, authentic Chicago-style whatever, hot dogs, roast beef sandwich, like, whatever, that's a pretty good place to go if you're a tourist.
Yeah, so
Or if you're a local.
Lori Sims is saying you can keep your cold weather. That's why I pay way too much to live in California.
I would love to live in California at some point. You guys have such great weather.
Galvin Gals at Katie. Yes, we had a hard time finding them, but this was maybe 5 years ago, and there was a public toilet on the sidewalk, and you had to pay to use it. I'm fairly certain it was in the Castro district of SF. So that's talking about like the pay to use toilets and stuff like that. Interesting. So Thomas Reiser, Hancock will let Chicago residents in for half price when you show your driver's license.
Oh, really?
I think they used to be a thing. I don't know if that's still a thing, though, Thomas. Maybe. But I don't know that that still is a thing. I know that they used to have a different pricing model than what they have now.
We've been able to go to really cool opportunities at the Hancock Center through Derek's connections within the photography industry. They'll have, like, events, basically, where people who are photographers can sign up in advance and go at like sunrise or sunset with their tripods.
Usually sunrise.
Yeah.
So you get in before it actually opens to the public, which is really cool because you get to go in and like set up, and you can get some really nice like long exposure of like blue hour or as the sun dries, and you can get some like time lapses inside, and it's really cool.
It's beautiful.
And I've done that at a few different places. I've done that at like Hancock. 360 Chicago is what the name of that part is called, or Skydeck Chicago, which is in the Willis Tower, Sears Tower building. And then additionally, one time I was able to go do sunrise at the Roby Hotel, which is pretty cool. But that's a little bit harder to get into because it's totally not open. You kind of have to have
It's smaller too. They don't have like a whole observation area, so they have to limit it a lot.
But they have a really cool like view of the city skyline because you can get in one shot. You can kind of get the Hancock, Trump Tower, and Sears Tower, and kind of like
so if you guys are ever visiting Chicago and are wanting to stay at more of a cool, trendy hotel, the Roby Hotel in Wicker Park is
pretty cool.
Really cool. It's right off the Blue Line. You can get there from O'Hare.
Super easy.
Super easy. It's literally like right next to the Blue Line, but you're not going to hear the subway noise because the hotel itself is, a high-rise sort of thing. And the rooftop deck, there's like a swimming pool area on the 6th floor, I think, and then there's like the rooftop deck higher up that has great views, so check it out. But yeah, I was seeing that Blaine was saying that he followed both of us on Instagram. I haven't posted on Instagram in a little bit, and I'm remedying that later this week. So stay tuned. If anybody follows me on Instagram, I'm finally going to get up to speed and post a few more travel photos. I've just been holding off a little bit during quarantine.
Nick,
but I'm very active in Instagram stories.
Okay. So, thank you, Blaine. There's a little something between Lori and Megan, but it sounds like it's all figured out and it's all good. No hard feelings. Thomas Reiser, Lou Malnati's is only in Chicago, Milwaukee, and Phoenix. So that's interesting. Lou Malnati's is good. Nothing against it at all. Nothing against any of those, like Gino's, Giordano's, Pizzeria Uno.
I love to Nick D. So Eric Brown saying I need some real Chicago style pizza and not that crap I had at O'Hare. And then Nick D said Sbarro. So I don't know if any of you guys watched The Office, but
That's
that was
the
like
best
one of my
episode.
favorite jokes was when Michael Scott
My favorite New York style pizza, Sbarro.
and then it's Sbarro in Times Square.
Which the only reason why I found that funny was because we had a Sbarro in our
Yeah,
in our food court.
at Indiana University in college,
at our food hall
we had
that we shared. That's where we went on dates back in college.
we could go to Sbarro on meal points in
Yeah.
college.
That big ZD, so good.
That joke really hit home to us.
Alright, so Galvan Gals is saying, I have to admit, when we were at the dealership, we started to get excited at some of the new models. Who knows, we might be in the market again sooner than expected. We all might be.
Yeah. I never expected to be in the market for an RV, ever. So, I'm with you, and we've only watched YouTube videos.
But I'm pretty pumped based on those YouTube videos. I'm kind of sold. It seems like a good life. I don't know. Although I did watch a video this morning, that was on the things they don't tell you.
I think we must be very behind because I just saw Megan Morris had Paige Jeans for the win, and I feel like we talked about that a long time ago. So let's do a lightning round here.
So Blaine is saying, Galvin Gals, yeah, once you get started, it's an addiction for sure. I know it is for us. RV life.
Yeah.
Cool. Nick D, LOL, they claim to be first, but they're definitely not best, even outside the airport. Pizzeria, no.
Not Sbarro.
Not Sbarro. Galvin and Gals, yep, we loved ours, but since we were going international so much, we sold it. Probably should have held on another year. Yeah, that's the RV.
Yeah. I mean, you would have had no idea though. So don't beat yourself up about that. It's just it happens to the best of us,
Blaine is saying, pay to use the bathroom. That sounds a little crappy. Pun intended, I hope.
But
Okay. Blaine's asking what Galvan and Gals had. So let's see if they answer. I think they do. So Nick is asking me how I like Parks and Rec so far because I mentioned that's what I'm binging
oh
right
god,
now.
that was a whole thing last night.
I haven't had an opportunity to watch any more than I've already watched, so I'm on
So just a reminder, Derek's from Indiana.
I'm from Indiana.
So that's an extra layer.
So for me, Parks and Rec always had a little soft spot in my heart for I'm from there. I'm not from Pawnee or whatever the heck the name of their fictional town is, but that it felt
was Pawnee
it
supposed
felt
to be
real.
Fort Wayne?
I have no idea.
Okay.
And also
Anyway.
I don't know. I just
Derek's
Ron
not from
Swanson,
Pawnee.
Ron Swanson's character for me, I'm always that guy's awesome. Big fan. So Galvan and Gals is saying that they had a.
Maybe we'll do a Parks and Rec update next Thursday.
Ooh, that
we
means
can mark our words for that.
That means you have to let me watch it.
Right, but between now and next Thursday, I'm sure there'll be at least a few more episodes down.
She's a taskmaster. I'm just kidding. Galvan and Gals, we had a Tiffin Allegro 36 UA, so it was a 38-foot Class A. Interesting. I would have thought it was 36 feet.
But 38 feet is long, so that's a good one.
That's nice. We actually, so there's an influencer on YouTube that we watch her videos sometimes, and she just put out a video that she bought an Airstream, a busted Airstream, and I think she's in Seattle or something like that, and so her and her dad are in the middle of kind of trying to fix that up during quarantine and stuff, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Megan Morris, Paige Jeans for the win. Yeah. I agree.
Paige jeans men's or women's? Really?
Actually, so I like Paige. I like Joe's. Joe's are really nice. And then, what's that AG one?
Yeah, they're all the ones.
Those
basically all the Bloomingdale's brands
the
Derek's really into.
They're stretchy. I didn't know jeans could be stretchy.
Yeah, they are for travel too. They dry a little bit faster.
I was a Gap guy for so long that I was
and
jeans are just
Gap
restrictive.
jeans are great. It's just if you're traveling with them, they don't dry very quickly. Paige jeans and Joe's jeans.
They're not great. Not what I used to buy. I bought the cheap jeans, I guess. I don't know.
But Paige jeans and Joe's jeans are faster drying, and they're like a little bit more like stretchy, I guess is the right word for just if you're traveling. That's
So
it's a
Eric,
little bit better.
Eric is saying that Rome is almost impossible to find a free public toilet. It's been a minute since we've been to Rome, so I don't quite remember. But I think that's probably right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we went to Rome in 2009, but we haven't been back since then, right? I don't think so.
I haven't.
We went for a while in 2009, though.
Yeah, we were there for like 4 days or 3 days or something like that. Blaine is saying that they have a 44-foot Jayco seismic fifth wheel. That's big.
That's awesome. That's huge.
That's huge. So that was our thing. Like we kept watching like these van builds. So like very tiny and like cramped and stuff, but like you could fit the stuff into it. And then like we were watching this thing about like the Airstream, and she was like showing like the size of this thing. We're like, that thing's huge. Like you'd have all the space in the world. Meanwhile, we're in this like big house, and we're like, okay, no, it wouldn't be that big, but seems big.
Still, I mean, like, that's all you need.
Yeah. So the bathroom in the Amsterdam train station took contactless card for payment to get through to the stall. That's cool.
I didn't go at Amsterdam Central. I only used the restroom at the airport, but I think it was the same situation, which is such an upgrade and amazing because then you don't have to have like the exact change on you. Just like it's a game changer. It's awesome.
Yeah. So there's a lot of talk about like RVs and whatnot, and Galvin and Gals is saying that they don't want to pull a fifth wheel, and that 38 feet was probably bigger than they needed. So maybe they'll go a bit smaller this time.
And they had pets too.
Yeah.
So that's actually really good feedback because there's just for us it's just the two of us without pets.
Yeah, so Blaine is basically saying, yeah, I wished I had a Class A due to size. Might as well have a motor coach at that point. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, because I bet that getting into certain places is a little bit harder the bigger your RV is, right?
Yeah. Lori Sims is saying to find free toilets in Europe and the USA, use the app Where is Public Toilet. It shows closest public free toilets for your location.
I used to have one of those when we lived in New York City. I
And it would
don't
always
think it
show,
was
like-
that exact app, but it was like an app that was specifically for public toilets in New York.
It would basically show you the location of every Starbucks
Yeah.
that had a bathroom.
Plus anything else that might be nearby.
Yeah. But what I thought was funny is you do that and it's like Starbucks. It was pretty funny.
He's not lying. That's basically what the app was.
Yeah. I'm like, I could have created this app. So Nick D drove towards Portland, Maine from Lowell, Massachusetts, saw there was a toll road to get there, and just decided to go to a small town south of Portland. Great lobster rolls, though. So lobster roll, oh my god, lobster roll.
I know lobster rolls. We had the best lobster roll in Boston.
No, we didn't. We went to the place next door to it.
That's true, but
We were
it
gonna
was
go
still
to the.
great, so I don't know.
We were gonna go to the place that was like supposed to be like the best lobster roll, and when we got there, we're like, "What's the wait?" And they're like, "Ha ha ha!"
I think the wait was like 2
It
hours,
was like
and
2
there was
hours.
a lobster roll place next door, and so we went to that one.
Yeah,
and it was
and-
still really good.
Yeah, and we looked like next door, and there was like no line. We're like, "I'm hungry," so we went, and the best part was we got in, and there was like 2 beat cops picking up lobster rolls. I'm like, if the beat cops are here, this must be freaking awesome. Like,
Yeah.
and it was so good, and it was like right next door to the like the famous one. It was like, this is what we want. This is good. It was really tasty.
Yeah, so now we just
In
have to go
fact,
back
I
to
can
the
find
famous
it
one.
because it's on
But
my
we were
means to eat.
So we were supposed to go to Boston at the end of May. For
Boston.
we were supposed to go for a wedding in the Berkshires, and then my cousin had a baby in February, and they live in Boston, and so we were gonna go visit that baby.
Polly's. So the place we went to is Polly's North End, and check that out. Like, that was an awesome freaking like lobster roll. So good. Polly's North End in Boston. Freaking delicious. Now I want a lobster roll.
So now we have to go back
Thanks,
to
Nick.
Boston in December for that. The wedding got postponed. So if anybody has Boston recommendations, especially for like that time of year, please share them with us because we're a little bit concerned about the weather. So if you have like restaurant and like kind of like museum recommendations, we're all ears on that.
Yeah. So Nick and others are talking about Voodoo Donuts. That would be awesome in Portland, Oregon. I definitely want to go there. That would be so good. Nick Peterson is saying, "I
Voodoo
love."
Donuts though is in like a not so great neighborhood.
Yeah, go there.
That was, yeah.
Nick Peterson, I love the raunchy names for the donuts there. I'll have to look that up. That sounds like fun. Eric Brown is saying, I went to Voodoo Donuts at Universal Studios in LA and it was great. Interesting. Nick is saying, I really want to go to Springfield at Universal Studios, but am waiting until Nintendo Land is built. Interesting. I didn't even know that was happening. Alright, so Galvin and Gals. When we went, my daughter was with us. She is 22 now, but was 18 then, and we each ordered our own and did not think she was going to get her order out. It was fun.
This is to Nick Peterson, so this was for
The donuts.
the donuts.
Because there's the raunchy names for donuts. That's funny. Mark Finley!
Hi, Mark.
Welcome! Oh my god.
He's
Sorry it took
back.
so long for us to say hi.
We are so delayed. We're lightning rounding it. We promise.
Alright, Megan is saying that she's more of a food culture versus sports, except for UK basketball. That's weird. Sorry, that's not interesting.
UK basketball, is that a thing?
I didn't even know that was a thing. I know that they do football, which is really soccer.
I've explained to
Premier
everybody
League.
that I have a default European soccer team that I support, even though I could not answer any questions about them.
Bonnie is saying, awesome picture, Eliz. I assume that means thumbnail. I'm not sure. Alright, so Nick, I've been to a Bears game as an away fan. The Vikings were playing the Bears in Chicago on my 23rd birthday. And you're trying to go for your 29th, I think. It was a great time, but Soldier Field was a disappointment.
Nick's gone to a Bears game and I haven't.
Man.
We went to an Ed Sheeran concert at Soldier Field.
Megan
Last year.
Morris is saying that she is in Lexington, Kentucky.
Yep.
Fun.
We
And
got-
Ed Sheeran was awesome, by the way. Like
Both
that was
Derek
a
and I have-
sick show.
Both Derek and I have family history in Kentucky. So we've explored. Derek and I have like explored the whole like 23andMe and Ancestry.com stuff lately, and during our road trips we would be looking at that kind of those stop bys. So maybe we'll go to Kentucky too.
Nick, so people are talking about where they're from, and Nick is saying, I'm in a bunker in the center of the earth. Nice.
I mean, safety first.
We're in
Safety.
Chicago. So
Bunker in the center of the earth
Midwest.
is you're gonna be the last person standing. That's for sure.
So Galvin and Gals, yeah, there is so much more going on music-wise in Nashville than just country. Not that we don't like country. I have a lot of friends who are in the biz, mostly producers. Fun scene for sure.
Yeah.
We need to go see some country music with you, or just music with you in Nashville.
I think we're gonna make it to Nashville probably.
I think
It's-
you've got the hookup.
Because we have to go visit those friends of ours too. down
Megan
there.
Morris is telling Nick that MSP has the best TSA ever. I have no idea.
Minneapolis St. Paul is what. But
Cool. I don't know. I've never
I
been there.
would love to know backstory to that, because anyone raving about best TSA, I mean that's a meaningful compliment.
Hey, that's you. Here's a cookie. Thank
Like-
you.
I just want to know why.
So, Nick Peterson, lobster.
Lobster, yeah.
Nice.
I mean, lobster in Maine is the freaking best. So if any of you guys go to Acadia National Park or anywhere along the Maine coast this summer for your road trips, Beale's Lobster Pier is the perfect place to stop. It's like right along the coast, but not in any of those like high-end towns, so the lobster is actually decently affordable.
High-end.
And they have really good pie. So you can order lobster and blueberry pie at the same time.
Man.
Like, you heard it here first, folks. And they have an Instagram, so you can, like, see what I'm talking about.
Roll me up and lay me down.
Roll me up and lay me down. That's all you need. Summer, check.
So, all right, we need to catch up. We're so freaking far behind. Megan Morris.
You do a lightning round. I'll be right back.
So Nick D is saying at Megan Morris at Nick Peterson, Minneapolis Spam Museum. That's interesting. Megan Morris, Derek and Eliz. Next time you hit up Lawrenceburg, we will totally meet you in Cincinnati over the Rhine area. Great food options. Yeah. So my family's from like that Cincinnati type area in Lawrenceburg, and it's a great part of town. There's some really good. There's like Kentucky. They call it the tri-state area, so it's Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana. And the Kentucky side, which is actually where the airport is, you fly into Kentucky when you fly into Cincinnati, is like Newport on the Levee and stuff like that. And there's some cool stuff. Yeah, no, that's fun. Yeah, we'll have to hit you up next time we're out there. It might be a little while because with like everything going on, like I don't know the next time I'm actually gonna make it down to see my family. We've kind of talked about it occasionally on these things. Like my mom has some she's immunocompromised and stuff, so like getting down there is like not sure it's gonna happen anytime soon, but we'll see. Thomas Reiser is saying I've taken sunset pictures at Hancock. It's really cool. It's really a great place, and you can get like. The beauty of it is you take pictures there and you get Sears Tower in the picture, which is beautiful. It's kind of like going to Rockefeller Center in New York City because you can get the Empire State Building in it, which is pretty neat. Nick is saying that the Spam Museum is not in Minneapolis; it's in Austin, Minnesota. Interesting. Katie Smith, bye Galvanting Gals. Galvanting Gals, bye. Sorry we missed you. Have a great night. Yeah, so I guess it's far away from Minneapolis. It's hard when you go on road trips. You don't quite know. Nick Peterson, obviously you watch The Office because you're saying Sbarro, LOL. Yeah, Nick, you see Sbarro in every mall. Really makes The Office joke hit hard. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Yeah, Nick, I think when I read about the Spam Museum, just assumed everything in Minnesota was Minneapolis, St. Paul. I'm a bad fact checker. Nice. Visos Travel. Welcome, bud.
Hey,
¿Qué
Visos
pasa,
Travel.
man? Welcome. It's awesome. Glad to have you. So Sbarro.
Congratulations on the 400 subscribers today. That's amazing. Cheers to you.
Very cool. So Eric is saying Sbarro was like $10 in New York City and the pizza was garbage. Yeah, dude. If you're in New York, you gotta go for like the dollar slice place.
Also,
so
John's on Bleecker.
Oh god.
Amazing pizza.
They don't do slice. You gotta get the whole pie, but it is phenomenal. Eat it there though. Like don't
take
buy
it
it
away.
and take it away. Like it does not reheat well.
The first time we went, we were waiting in line, and all of a sudden, an episode of Californication just happened to start filming outside of while we were waiting in line. We're like,
I was like, oh my god, it's the dude from X-Files.
We're like, this is such a New York moment.
And we were taking friends there, because like that's always been like ever since I first went to New York in college. John's on Bleecker was like my spot for pizza. Like that was the place that I had met a guy who was a buddy of mine that summer, and he was like, "You got to go to John's on Bleecker. It's the best pizza in New York." And he was like a local, so I was like, "Of course." And that became like the place I always took people to, and it's pretty cool. It's a lot of fun.
Where are we at? Because I just saw something I wanted to respond to. Okay, we're not there yet. Okay.
All right,
Megan
chickened out
Morris,
going to
I'm coming for
Costco.
you
So Bonnie
to
chickened out going to Costco today. Close one to me has been the busiest Costco in North America for years, but now that title belongs to Oahu. What's going on that island? Wow, that's weird. Mark Finley.
What's going
hey,
on
Derek.
that island? I love that.
It's crazy. Hey, Derek, for scientific reasons, can you say the low-cal-cal zone?
Low-cal-cal zone.
I don't know what the low-cal-cal zone.
I think you have to
I like
get a
it though.
beat to that, but that's
I like it.
That's a tongue twister.
Megan Morris at Eric Brown. So sorry you wasted part of your NYC trip at Sbarro. I have made similar regrettable decisions while traveling. That's funny.
Yeah. You know what's funny is, especially Megan Morris is going to appreciate this. When I studied abroad in London, one of my best friends / the person that I interned alongside with, she was from Kentucky, and every time she said she was from Kentucky, people would be like, "Oh, like KFC?" And she's like, "Yes, like KFC."
That's
and
like
it's crazy because KFC's all over the world, so that's kind of like what people know.
That's kind of like saying I'm from Italy and being like, I hear that's shaped like a boot.
But like where I'm from in Chicago, like I'm from the town right next to where McDonald's is headquartered, but because it's Kentucky Fried Chicken, it's not like Oak Brook McDonald's, so
Chicago
like,
Burger
people
Land.
never mentioned that when I was studying abroad, so I felt for her.
Nick D, I went to the Sbarro in Times Square once, only because we had to catch a train and it was on the way. It was super crowded. I am Michael Scott. Nice. All right,
by
Blaine.
the way, the fun fact, the TGI Fridays in Penn Station in New York City serves alcohol. So if you're like wanting to just hang out and you have to like wait for a train when you're there, that's the place to go. That's where like all of the cool people go.
Did you say TGI Friday?
Yeah, TGI Fridays has like a bar.
And if you're, of course it's a restaurant. If you're flying through DFW, TGI Fridays is also delicious. Highly recommend it. So Blaine is saying, well, it's been a long day. Got a long day tomorrow. Take care, everyone. See you around.
Bye,
Remember
Blaine.
to
Thanks for
travel,
joining.
explore, and create memories. Thank you, Blaine. Have a great day. Sorry that we probably missed you, but it was great having you here.
Trying to catch up.
Megan Morris, Amsterdam Schiphol Airport is my favorite in Europe. KLM for the win. Yes, very nice airport.
So that's what I wanted to respond to.
The urinals.
We liked that airport, but like during COVID-19 situation, it felt very crowded. So I think there's trade-offs to AMS, but generally speaking, it's a good one. We were in the KLM terminal, even though we were flying Delta. And the interesting thing was that, like, it's kind of like Heathrow, where all of the restaurants and stuff are kind of, like, in that central area, and then you'd have to, like, walk really far away from the restaurants in order to get anywhere. So
I'd like to point out that Megan Morris says, I would pay dollars, euros, pounds for a good lobster roll right now. That's a lot of fun.
Right? Me too.
Lori Sims loves Terminal 5 in Heathrow, and somebody else said that, actually, as well.
Yeah, different terminals.
Thomas
in Heathrow.
Reiser also said Terminal 5 in Heathrow for BA is really
also
nice.
with JFK, if you guys can opt to fly out of not out of Terminal 1 at JFK, like any other terminal at JFK is fine, especially the Delta terminal. The Delta terminal, awesome, and I'm not just saying that. Like, it really is the best one. But like Terminal 1 is outdated in a lot of ways.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about like Schiphol and whatnot. Nick D, LOL, University of Kentucky. Yes, one of the biggest college teams. No, I don't remember what that's about. Eric Brown is saying to Megan Morris that something was very disappointing. I'm not sure what.
I think
though.
it's probably sports related. University of Kentucky.
Megan Morris at Eric Brown. I know, right? March Madness is everything in Lexington, Kentucky.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, we're talking about college basketball. Yum Yum Center, which is the arena in Lexington. That's fun because of the candy company. Eric Brown, I went to the 2012 National Championship game in New Orleans. UK versus KU, two wild fan bases. I like Kansas basketball.
That'd be wild.
That would be really cool.
That would be an interesting, because it's like crosstown rivalry but in the wrong state. And then Thomas Reiser says, idea behind not telling you the gate at Oh, you just skipped it. Where did it go? Oh, behind the gate at Heathrow is to get you to spend money in shops. Yes,
Yep.
totally. And
Well,
that worked for me. Where I wanted to get something at Cath Kidston, and Derek was like, "Let's go to the gate." And then I was like, "But we don't have a gate announcement yet. I'm going to go into Cath Kidston now and buy Christmas aprons." And he was like, that was his face. But
It was so expensive. It was so stupid.
But they were so cute. They had little doggies on them. And you can bake with them at Christmas time. Anywho.
No. But what I will say is what annoys me in the European airports a lot of times is like they force you to walk through like duty free. Like you go through security and
That's
then like
true.
they drop like you get dropped into like duty free.
That even happened at Punta del Este in Uruguay.
And the thing that I hate about it is that like I hate like the really perfumey sections. Like I don't, it's just like gives me a headache. Like
he hates it at malls.
I hate it at malls. Like I don't want anything to do with that stuff. And like they drop you off like right there, and you're like, I'll see you on the other end. I'm just walking.
Fun fact. So Derek bought he uses a moisturizer sometimes with SPF when he travels, and he bought one when we were going to Amsterdam when we were in Detroit at duty free. We get to Amsterdam, he opens the moisturizer, and it had been like
up.
Yeah, there was something like
It had gone
noticeably wrong. Like it had gone bad. And so on our way back, we went through Detroit again, and so we actually were able to return it, which was such a really just reassuring thing about duty free, because that's like the one thing that you're like a little bit skeptical of is like if something's wrong with this.
Yeah. No, it was super easy. It was nice.
But they were very nice.
All right, so everybody's talking about Yum Yum, and Yum Yum, I had forgotten about this. Yum Yum owns Kentucky Fried Chicken, KFC, so that's why that's why it's named that in Louisville. That's pretty cool. Do you hit up SEC tournament for basketball? Have not been for many years, but have some great memories there. All right, so the only thing that I can say about the basketball and stuff is I remember I had an assignment where I had to go to Dayton, Ohio, for work, and it was like the week of like the opening, like the beginning of the tournament, basically, and Indiana was playing in Dayton, and I remember the night before my meeting going down and drinking at the hotel bar with the camera crew that was in charge of following around like the IU basketball team, and we went to IU, so like for me, and this was when like I think like Oladipo and all them were playing, so like for me I'm like, this is awesome, and so I just like ended up like drinking like way too late at the bar with these guys, and like I think I probably showed up like hungover the next day to my meetings, but I had a good time. It was a lot of fun.
He found a way to have fun in Dayton.
Dayton, Ohio, man. Lori Sim says Yum Yum was the first stock I bought. That's interesting.
Nice.
Megan Morris, no, but I've seen UK play LSU at Baton Rouge several times. That's fun. So Mark Finley, April thinks your voice sounds like one of the Parks and Rec characters. Ben
I'm assuming
Wyatt.
it's yeah.
Well, the name is Ben Wyatt, so probably me. And she wanted you to say one of his quotes. Unless you're past season 2, you won't get it, but you will. Tell me, I'll say it. I don't know what it is.
Isn't Derek's voice great?
Oh, God. McDonald's HQ is on Randolph Street. Yeah, so McDonald's changed its HQ. So it used to be in Oak Brook by where she was. Now they're over in Randolph Street in like, not River West, but they're in like the West Loop type area.
Yeah, so all my life growing up, McDonald's headquarters was in Oak Brook, Illinois, and only just in the past 5 years, it moved to downtown Chicago.
Yeah. Nick Pearson, KFC, LOL. That's like saying that is related me to Target or Best Buy since they're HQ'd in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Kentucky is kind of shaped like a drumstick, just saying.
I've never thought about that.
According to Bonnie.
Sorry.
According to Megan Morris, Eliz, KFC is not good in the U.S. Always get asked about it abroad, but I will recommend KFC in Ecuador. Somehow good.
Interesting.
I mean, KFC is huge in China.
It is.
So if you go to China, you'll see
It's
KFC is
everywhere.
everywhere, and you'll be like, why? The answer is because when China opened up to the West, KFC was like the first restaurant to like move in, and that's why like they've like a lot of like Chinese places in like a lot of restaurants in China have tried to like replicate KFC type food their own way, which includes like the bone and everything chopped up into it because like they don't debone things. But yeah, no, it's really interesting, and we did not go, but it looked like people were enjoying themselves.
Nick D asks, have you been to the Rock and Roll McDonald's? Yes, confirmed. So that's a McDonald's that's in downtown Chicago. I don't think Derek's been, but they just redid that McDonald's, so it's a little bit less rock and roll.
According to Thomas Reiser, that McDonald's was torn down a couple years ago.
Oh, so I guess they just like rebuilt it. Yeah.
Are you talking about the one that now has the glass over it?
Yeah, I think it's
by the
one-
Rainforest Cafe.
Yeah, near Portillo's.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that they rebuilt that.
Okay.
There's something there.
So I knew that it was like not as rock and roll, but like okay, everybody thanks for fact checking me on that one. Visos Travel says we had fresh lobster rolls in Booth Bay Harbor, Maine. Yeah, Booth Bay Harbor we stopped at as well. It's so great. Lobster rolls in Maine and Boston, and actually Portsmouth, New Hampshire are terrific. So if anybody does like an East Coast road trip, kind of in that north part of New England this summer, definitely get a lobster roll. They're like to die for. I'm definitely getting hungry on this chat for those. And then Thomas Reiser says ORD, which is O'Hare, does the same thing at Terminal 5. Yeah. I'm not sure what that was in reference to. Probably one of the airport comments that we were making. Megan Morris, Eliz, I totally hit up some of the Kath Kidson a few years ago. My duty-free failure, though, is perfume. Totally into the scent. So what's funny is, so I have a signature scent, if you will, and it's a perfume that has since been discontinued in the U.S., but it's still carried in Asia. So I was so pleasantly surprised when we went to China last year to find that it's even still sold in duty-free places in China. So I've been only ordering it online. It's an Armani scent that you can still totally get online, like easy peasy. But they just don't sell it in like the Macy's and everything like that, or like Sephora here. So that was just a fun duty-free find. I'm not I don't go to duty-free all the time, and I'm curious if you guys do. But like for things like Dutch cheese or excuse me, my voice is going. Or like what else? Alcohols like wines, or what else do we buy at duty free?
Hats.
Derek buys hats for me as
Hats
souvenirs.
that say like
chocolates. Just anything that feels really like unique to the country. It's fun to buy at duty free. Bye, Mark Finley. See you on Saturday for sure for the Zoom.
Nice.
Thanks for coming.
So, Mark, by the way, I just saw your thing. Going back to watch our nightly Amazing Race episodes, but the quote April wanted you to say was the thing about the low-cal calzone zone. Mission accomplished. Thank you. I'm glad to have helped out, and I hope April's having a great day.
We're gonna have to catch up on Parks and Rec so we can hear that.
Yeah.
So we can know which character it is that you sound like too.
Mm-hmm. I have a feeling I'm probably not gonna like it. I don't know. Maybe.
We'll see.
I'd like to think it's Rob Lowe's character, but probably not.
That would be epic. I feel like they would. I feel like they would have told you that. If it was.
All I know is Rob Lowe loves elephants. I guess I don't know. That's what Netflix told me.
Have any of you guys seen the Rob Lowe and Kristen Davis? What's her? Kristen Davis. Whoever plays Charlotte in Sex and the City. They made a Christmas rom-com for Netflix based in Africa.
It was awesome.
And it was like basically a safari thing in Africa. We watched it at Christmas time and
beautiful.
Twice. It was so
She made us watch it twice.
so heartwarming. So if you guys are looking for a Christmas rom-com, that's the one.
Yeah, I don't remember what it's called, but yeah. All right, so Nick Peterson's calling it a night. See you guys on the Zoom call on Saturday. Yep, hope to see you there.
Bye, Nick.
Thomas Reiser, West Loop, Lou Malnati's is great, just a few blocks from the Mickey D's headquarters.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I wonder if there's differences in the different Illuminati's locations, too.
Maybe.
Well, we haven't done enough thorough research on that to be able to tell you.
Lori Sims says that California has the original McDonald's. Cool. That'd be fun to go to.
And Megan Morris, it's the original Acqua di Gio women's scent. So it's not the newer one that they came out with, like in the past decade. It's like the one from basically the 90s.
Yeah. Bonnie, good times. Thanks for hanging out with me. Take care, and hope to see you next week. We hope to see you too, Bonnie. Visos.
Liz, you are the ultimate Charlotte. I take that as a compliment. Thank you. But I'm also a little bit of a Miranda because I'm super type A that way too.
Pretty type A. But of all of them, I thought Charlotte was the prettiest. I like brunettes, so
there's that.
There's that. Visos Travels. Yeah, it was wonderful. Love rom-coms. Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah. Visos Travels, I knew you were the best.
Yeah, so Thomas is saying yes. So I can answer yes regarding differences in Lou Malnati's. They are not all the same.
Okay, that's good to know.
So that's good to know. All I know is, like, if I'm getting pizza, though, in Chicago, I'm probably getting Pequods. Or,
Peace.
You know, if I want, like, a more, like, daily type thing, like, Peace is much thinner crust. It's, like, New Haven style.
Yeah.
That's probably what I'd go for daily. But
we're still waiting for our bagel place to open up, just so y'all know. We have no word on when that's going to happen.
My thing is I need to find the everything bagel seasoning, which I think they sell at Costco sometimes. I looked for it the last time I went and I couldn't find it because I did find a good, or I don't know, looked good online, low carb everything bagel recipe. And I really want to make it because that sounds delicious to me. So
Visos Travel says we have a McDonald's in Oklahoma that is above a 4-lane highway, and yes, I have been to that one.
Okay.
Confirmed.
I've never been to Oklahoma.
So I assume it's the one I've been to because it was on my way to our family reunion in Oklahoma that we stopped there. But so my grandmother grew up in Oklahoma, and we did like a whole family reunion out there when I was growing up, and we drove. So I know that we stopped at a profoundly large McDonald's above a highway there. So I'm assuming we're talking the same language.
I've been to McDonald's in Italy. I've been to the ones in Champs-Élysées. I've been to, which is super fancy, by the way. The McDonald's on the Champs-Élysées, delicious. Like, you go to the cafe and you're like, oh, do you want a pain au chocolat? And you're like, yes, I do. Okay, yeah. Sounds nice. And it was air conditioned. It was super hot when we were there, so that was really nice. But yeah, no, I mean, McDonald's around the world is different, so it's kind of fun to like stop in and like see what's different in each of the different geographies and stuff, which is I find a lot of fun.
Megan Morris, no, I have not tried that Joe Malone scent. Whenever I can again, I'm gonna do that.
Eric Brown, I tried keto a couple times but never got past day 1. Okay.
I feel like we're bringing back, like somehow we're going full circle on this.
Yeah, we can end it after this. But so Eric, what I would say is if you're doing keto, I would highly recommend that don't try to cut down calories on that first week. Like, just if you're hungry, eat. Just make sure that you have stuff in place that fit with like your macros, like what you're trying to do from like a fat, protein, etc. The second thing is take magnesium, potassium, and extra sodium in your diet. So you can do sodium with like crushing up some salt and water, not a ton,
Night, Katie Smith.
just
Thanks
a little
for
bit,
joining.
and then take some magnesium, potassium supplements. It's going to help with like your electrolyte imbalance that takes place, which really helps with like the headaches and stuff. And then, the last thing is just
Derek also
have fun.
has like a whole snack drawer that are just keto snacks in the house, just for him. So that way, if he gets hungry, he can instantly eat.
Yeah, it's
I
about
feel like
taking
that'll
away
probably
any of
help.
those, like, you just don't want friction, right? So, like, anything that makes it easier, like cheese wisps or something like that's like a cracker, it's all good.
Yes, mouthwash is a complimentary good to the keto diet.
Yes, I would say that's true, and
Only in weeks 1 and 2. Like, it literally, I can tell you, because he did it for 6 months straight.
it goes away.
Like, it goes away. It really does.
All right, McDonald's in Spain and Mexico is so much better than in the U.S. Yeah, I've been to the Mexico and Spain. It's pretty good.
Just any McDonald's in Europe is better because I feel like the meat quality is stronger there. And in South America. We haven't been to McDonald's in Central America or Mexico, I don't think. Have you?
Yeah. No.
It might be the same there too, but it's just like they want better meat quality than we care about, I guess, in the U.S. or something. But
So-
I feel like they deliver there a little bit better.
So Eric, real quick, you're asking what kind of snacks. So my favorite snacks on like keto are I really like cheese wisps. They're kind of like it's all cheese. It's like a baked thing. It's like a chip type thing. You can eat it with like guacamole or something like that, like a chip and dip type thing. Those are really good.
On road trips, I'll do jerky.
Jerky is really good. You have to find like the right jerky. Like some jerky has like a lot of added sugar to it, and you don't want that. But the right jerky can be really good, low carb, etc. Like good stuff in it, not a bunch of like bad fillers. And then the other thing, pork rinds. Pork rinds are actually really good. And from like a macro perspective, it's all protein and fat. So like that's what you want on keto. And pork rinds are actually like super versatile. You can use it as like a breading option. If you have to like bread something, you can use pork rinds
yeah, he'll
instead.
like literally crumble it up and put it
Yeah.
as breading on stuff.
Like I was talking earlier. I was talking about like the cauliflower thing that I made today, which is like almost like a baked mac and cheese. And the breading on top, instead of like breadcrumbs, is crumbled up pork rinds, Parmesan cheese, and a little bit of butter. You put that on top, and it's like, it was delicious. Like I had a little bit of it today. It was super good. So
Not low carb.
yeah. Well, no, it's super low carb.
Oh, sorry, low calorie. That's
It's
what I
not.
meant.
Yeah,
I'm
it's,
sorry.
it's not low calorie.
Sorry, I
that,
misspoke.
That again, that's my thing. Is like, don't try to like cut the calories when you're first going. Like, eat till you're satiated. Learn like what feeling full means to you, and like go from there. And it's like, and I find like knowledge is like super helpful. Like knowledge is power, and like Eliz was just like, she's like, oh my god, I need to leave, because I was like watching like YouTube videos on like the keto diet and like the science behind it and all this stuff, and it's like I know as I watch it, like that like fulfills like in my head.
We
like,
have a TV that's
why
close
it
to our
works.
kitchen, so he'll just like throw on YouTube videos and just cook along with the different keto YouTubers and stuff like that, which is nice.
Yeah, Nick D is saying I've made chicken strips with pork rind breading, and I've done like so if you go and you buy like the cheese, the mozzarella cheese sticks that like you like peel off strips or whatever, that stuff is great for like cheese sticks. Like if you want to make your own at home cheese sticks, you do those, and like what you do is you use like an egg wash, and then you double coat it in pork rinds, and then you fry that, and you get like this like mozzarella cheese stick, and it's delicious. Low carb. It's not. Oh God, it's not a like diet snack or whatever, but like it's super good. And like if that's the kind of thing that like you need to help make something sustainable, like you just need to find what's right for you, and that's the key.
Eric Brown saying he's bad with bread and beer, but you drink Michelob Ultra at least on keto usually.
Yeah, Michelob Ultra is okay. It's pretty low carb, but I mean,
We're
not
not trying to
good.
sell anybody on the keto diet
No,
right
no,
now.
no.
I've never even done
God,
it.
no.
But Derek's family like has a little bit higher tendency towards diabetes, so as like on top of weight loss, it's just he's a little bit more incentivized towards it.
Yeah, no, it's mainly about diabetes, and other things like that. What I will say, Michelob Ultra, that works if you just like need a beer fix, but it's not good. It's not good at all. But yeah, no, it's fun. All right, so Megan Morris, applause for everyone staying on through this whole chat.
Thank you all so much.
Means actually knows how to host a live stream versus people who don't, that are trying to get a few views. Yeah, I mean, we try.
Yeah, it's funny because I feel like our live stream views can be kind of low compared to a lot of people's. But I feel like the crowd is so engaged. We're so grateful to all of you guys for coming back, and we like literally it's like hanging out with our friends.
Yeah,
we look forward to this
we
twice a
appreciate your
week.
time.
We love everybody coming here and hanging out with us and like talking real talk about travel and like what you all are thinking about. So hopefully you can
Anything.
share.
You know, that's the beauty of this is like
Or keto.
travel's what, you know, we want to talk about mainly. But if like you guys have other things to talk about, like, you know, sports and different places, like we're happy to talk about that stuff, and it's like it's a lot of fun for us.
Yeah,
so,
I mean,
and we haven't even gotten into like we haven't gone deep into like food while you travel. Like that's something that maybe we should talk about next time. It's like our favorite like food experiences abroad, or even just like domestic, you know, like that'd be a lot of fun because
what are the
there's
best
so
food
much of it.
options in the U.S. and Canada?
Like, oh my God.
I feel like would be a really great topic for.
What's funny is like we're talking about like keto, but like my favorite food experiences are not keto. You know, it's like
poutine.
Bread, poutine, like, you know, like fried chicken in Nashville with like mac and cheese. Like that is like, oh my God, that's so good. So we should talk about that next time.
Yeah. And Eric Brown, if you're into keto, just message Derek on Instagram.
Yeah, shoot me a DM or whatever.
Because we don't want to get like too far into it here, but like, I mean, Derek lost 30 pounds when he did it for 6 months, so he can talk to you about all the different stages of that.
Yeah, no, I think it can be very rewarding. I think you can do it long term. I actually did like a whole like Thanksgiving dinner where I cooked like 2 versions of everything, one for me, one for like our friends.
Yeah, he did a completely keto Thanksgiving.
So, I mean, there's ways to do it.
Oh, well, I ate some of your deviled eggs.
Yeah, but it's deviled eggs. It's delicious. But, like, the thing I will say about it is, like, it's gone so much more mainstream than when I first did it. Like, there's, like...
Nick D. Keto Poutine
bread.
on Shark Tank.
It's awesome.
You're a genius. We're supporting that.
Nice. Okay, so... Megan Brown, your live stream views should be so much higher. Y'all are so authentic.
Thank you.
Thank you. we really appreciate it. But we will be calling it a night, I think, because it's getting late.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Thank you guys so
really
much for
appreciate
joining
it.
with us for so long. You guys are all legends. Seriously. And we hope you come back on Sunday. We're going to be back on at 11 a.m. Central. And of course, next Thursday at 7 p.m. Central again. We're in a state that's shelter in place, so we're doing this for the rest of May at minimum.
Yeah.
Twice a week, and we love having you guys it's like our Thursday and Sunday dates. It's so fun.
We appreciate having you guys here with us. You know, we know that there's a lot that you can be doing with your time, and so you spending it with us really means a lot. So thank you very much, and we hope you have a great evening.
Yeah.
And we will
Cheers,
see you next time. Cheers.
Bye, guys. Have a good one. Good night.